After he passed out, they dominated the battlefield, but the battle itself came to a standstill, and both sides chose to retreat. Since then, nobody has made a move. They are all recovering from their wounds after all. While his mind is racing, he wonders if the parry he did back then would succeed if he tried doing it again. Perhaps he will never know. Jackson comes around later and tells him to stop stretching. He will not heal if he keeps his muscles moving. Encrid feels that he's not overdoing it, so he can move at least a little. Ragna agrees with Jackson. The most he can do now is stretch like that. He should get some sleep and recover faster. Rem comes around and bumps into Ragna, asking if he's trying to spread his laziness to their commander too. And by the way, standing in the walkway like that is a dumbass move. Ragna immediately goes to fetch his sword so that they can have a fight, which prompts Encrid to ask something about it. He managed to actually use a technique he had never practiced before. He only saw. Is that a normal thing? Rem feels that it is. If he was using the heart of the beast, he could actually sense what the enemy was doing, so he would be able to understand how they swing their sword and how much strength to use. Ragna also agrees that it should be easier since he learned the basics. He also succeeded with single-point concentration, so he must have seen more than in the past. However, he actually got pretty lucky, as at his level, something like that will succeed after 100 real battles. Encrid now understands. The day that has just passed wasn't a single day for him. It was hundreds of days of overwhelming struggle. He got stronger through his hard work and determination, not just through memorizing patterns as such. No matter how much talent he has, he can get stronger, and he will. While Ragna and Rem butt heads, Encrid asks them both for a duel. Rem notes that most people call him a madman, but that title should be given to him, while Ragna asks how he hopes to duel in his condition. Suddenly, the ferry commander appears, who says that duels are not to be participated in while he's in such a bad condition. She also asks if he was the person who broke the spell. Encrid knew that someone would come and ask him that question, but why the company chief commander? He says that it was indeed him. He saw it while on patrol and also knew a little about it from previous encounters. The ferry commander is surprised. There were 5 decoys. How did he find the real one? Encrid notes that he just guessed, which makes the ferry commander stare at him for a bit, but she turns away and takes that as the truth. Encrid asks if this is all she came to ask, but the ferry commander explains that she also came to see his face, as it seems that fate has brought them together. Encrid has no clue what she's talking about, but Rem and Ragna think that they are together or something, with Ragna surprised that he has those types of skills. Encrid tells them that it's not like that, but Krace also comes around and notes that he's the perfect guy to start a host bar with. He will make the terms favorable for him. Encrid tells him to shut up, but he also wonders why she said that. She's their boss, so this is really uncomfortable. Krace also has some news for him. A squire from the Knight Order has arrived. Encrid is surprised. Someone from the Scarlet Cloak Knight Order is here. The battalion he is a part of is named the Cypress Division, which was named after a knight, and that Cypress is a part of the Scarlet Cloak Knight Order. The knights are people who are extremely skilled, which is true even across the entire continent. That is why a Knight Order has a lot more people besides the main knights. They have squires, servants, and students. Once a squire has proved himself to his knight, they become a proto-knight, and far above that, there are the knights, who have surpassed their human limit. Squires do not fight often without their knight, so this squire is probably about to become a proto-knight. Suddenly, the bells ring, and everyone gets ready for battle. Krace thinks that they were probably waiting for this guy if they are heading to battle right now, and Rem tells Encrid to get some rest. He really does need it. Encrid is not bothered by his wounds. He wants to see that guy in action. He wants to compare himself to him. Rem sees the glow in his eyes, and tells him to come with if he wants to see him so much. It's not like they are going to do much anyway. Everyone gets lined up for battle shortly afterwards, but Encrid is most excited. He will finally see a small piece of his dream. He can finally see what it takes to become a knight. The squire walks alone to their enemies, who immediately get into position to fire their arrows at him, but he does not flinch even once, and walks steadfast. The enemy commander tells them to fire, making hundreds if not thousands of arrows fly towards the squire, who waits until they are close enough. After that, he crouches down and gathers wind at his feet, which Ragna recognizes as determination. After charging enough, the squire sprints through the arrows and arrives directly at the enemy's front line. It's filled with shields and spears, but the squire is not stopped. As with one strike, he takes out that entire front line and sends his enemies flying. Encrid is astounded, but also frightened. Even the commander doesn't know what to say, but he has nothing to say, as the squire starts cleaving through them left and right without mercy. Everyone starts to retreat at the sight. They will not needlessly sacrifice their lives, but the commander tells them to hold the line before his head gets chopped off cleanly. As the squire stands on the head of the commander's horse, everyone has different opinions about him. Rem is not surprised by how skilled he is. They are called war specialists for a reason, right? Ragna feels that he should be able to at least hold the line against him. and Jackson notices that the enemy had at least 5 chances to stop his advance. The enemy commander was a fool. Crais is only glad that this will be over without them needing to do much, but Encrid starts to ponder heavily. Is he using the righteous sword? But that's not it. It has elements of the heavy and swift sword in it too. The righteous sword is a just and intricate technique that lures the opponent into the user's moves. The heavy sword is, like the name suggests, a heavy sword technique. It uses strength to cut through everything and dominate no matter what. The confounding sword is the most confusing technique, as it tricks the opponent and allows easy ambushes. The Valen sword is a subsidiary of this technique. The swift sword is the fastest sword technique. It overwhelms the opponent with sheer speed. The flowing sword is a soft and gentle technique. It parries the opponent's attacks and retaliation in kind. Encrid can see both heavy and swift swords in that squire. They are both vying for control. He breathes in and regathers his thoughts. Even if different in character, all techniques started from a single source. If one is to understand the resemblance between all 5 techniques and wield the sword like it is a living, breathing object, perhaps then they will be able to do this too. He closes his eyes as the army charges in, with Rem and Ragna noticing that their squad leader is meditating. Rem smiles and tells them that the squad leader is about to overcome something, so they will allow nobody to disturb him. Encrid knows that nothing changed, despite his understanding. Understanding is nothing. It is only a wall, something that exists only to show how much he has to climb. Soldiers fly past him into battle, but Encrid does not move. Instead, he climbs the obstacle inside of his mind, and he will do it to the very top. As the screaming and wailing of the fight rages on, Encrid continues to climb. As their soldiers continue to push the enemy, Encrid continues to climb. As the soldiers scream out in victory, Encrid has finished his climb. He knows that this war is coming to an end, so the following seasons will be quite busy. In the Principality of Aspen, which is controlled by the 3 main families, Aspen, the sovereign, damns the empire, as they broke the gentleman's agreement to not bring in any knights. Grey Wolf, who is actually named Hurrier the Almighty, and Atkins, the administrator, are also present. Atkins explains that they used the frog general they sent out as an excuse, and since the frogs do require a nightly response, they have no excuse either. Aspen damns that bastard of a frog who did as he pleased, but Atkins notes that it was to be expected. Frogs generally do what they want, no matter their excuse or motive. However, this would have not happened if the spell they wasted resources on had succeeded. Aspen becomes enraged at the Greyhounds. They must pay for this insubordination. Hurrier knows that this will not end well for them at all. After such a lengthy war, the Aspen forces headed back, and so did Encrid and his team. They all went to Border Guard, which is the kingdom's remote fortress city. Because it's close to Aspen, this place is heavily militarized, with 1 in 5 people being a soldier. A ceremony is held, praising everyone for their will and determination, which has brought them this victory. They will also reward the common soldiers who have proven themselves most useful, be it on the battlefield or out. The first one to be called out is Encrid, as he destroyed that foul spell of the Aspens, so he shall be rewarded. Everyone starts mocking him as he climbs the podium. They call him weak, and think that he did something with the commander to get this reward. Suddenly, someone from behind the trash talkers tells them to shut up, with another familiar face telling them to not talk down to that person. To them, Encrid is much more than that. He is a true man. Encrid receives quite a hefty sum of cash, which makes Crais immediately ask what he's going to do with it. Perhaps he will spend it on drinks, or women, or perhaps both. Encrid notes that he wants a good store, more specifically, the best blacksmith in the entire city. Crais walks with him all the way to the smithy, wondering how he can spend all that money on a damn sword. If he doesn't like the standard issue one, he can just pick one out from the battlefield and be done with it. He does that too, and they work fine. Encrid does not mind him. To become a knight, he needs to prove himself. More specifically, he must prove his skills. He is going to take the soldier promotion exam, as it's about time he ditches the life of a lowly foot soldier. Crais thought he wasn't interested in things like promotions, but Encrid feels that he can't stay in one place forever. Crais understands, but they must get stuff set up first. Norilla has a soldier ranking system in order to increase morale, with those stronger than the scale being considered special grades. A person is also treated differently based on their rank. To be promoted, one must have a duel with 3 of the soldiers in the rank that he is after, and win. For the soldiers that are just spectating, this is just a fun sport involving betting, which naturally Crais is the expert of, and incentivizes everyone to come and bet. The first soldier Encrid has to face is arrogant. What is a low-rank scum like him trying to achieve by going for medium rank? He won an award based on the squad's actions, and now he thinks he's some hotshot. Encrid knows this guy. Even if arrogant, he is skilled and hails from a famous mercenary group. The betting box Crais has is filled with bets on the other side, while there is only a single bronze coin on Encrid's side, prompting the gamblers to wonder who put that coin there. Crace notes that they won't know until the results come in, so they should sit down as the match is starting. Encrid only got stronger by dying over and over, but in this fight, there is no risk of death, so he only has one shot. He steels himself. He will look ahead and not lose focus, which is a pathetic skill, but it's the limit of his hard work. He knows that in the past, he wouldn't have stood a chance against someone like this, but he will not be conceited either. He will fight like his life is on the line. The arrogant full charge in with his sword aimed high. Encrid thinking that he will try to do the parry he learned in the previous battle. Perhaps he can win if he does it. Surprisingly enough, however, Encrid blows the sword out of the arrogant bastard's hands away in a single stroke, who is more scared about his fingers. Encrid doesn't know what to say, so he just ends the fight by hitting the bastard with the butt of his sword. He wonders why this guy is so weak, and a gambler is mad at Crace, as he probably was the one who bet on his commander, right? Because he knew how strong he was? Crace actually is shocked too. He only put that bronze coin in there because he took pity on him. Encrid wonders if that guy just let his guard down, but even if he did, the duel ended too quickly. He shouldn't be so weak if he's a medium rank. He doesn't have time to think about that, as his next opponent arrives, who tells him to not get cocky just because he won one duel. Encrid knows this guy too. He is heavy infantry, the strongest in their battalion. The heavy soldier starts by trying to distract Encrid by waving the tip of his spear around, but then he only thrusts forward, allowing Encrid to just cut the tip of his spear, rendering it useless. He thinks that this is just a trick. This guy must have something else lined up. Judging by his face, however, it seems that this really is just it. Encrid kicks him in the gut, ending another fight. Everyone is shocked that he won 2 fights in a row, and Crace calls forward the next challenger. Who wants to duel him? Nobody wants to budge. Not even those who trash talk to him. Andrew thinks that he can win since he trained with Mac every night since they last met, but Mac tells him to not go, as he's gotten too strong. Not even he has a chance to beat him. With that information, Andrew sits down and observes the situation. Suddenly, someone pushes the main trash talk to go. That's someone being Rem, who has heard everything he said up until now. To prove he's not scared, the trash talker agrees to go, even though he's sweating bullets. Encrid only felt struggle up until now, so that is why he did not notice. That stabbing bastard in the first today he suffered through, and the assassin in the next one. Combined with Mitch Hurrier, and even the squad members he trains with daily, he just had it rough until now. He knows that his old teacher told him to not underestimate his opponent, which he felt was irrelevant to him, as he never thought there would be a time when he could look down on someone. The trash talker asks what's with his face, but Encrid is only happy. He has become strong enough to dominate his opponent. He charges in with his sword, hitting heavily. In Norilla, strength is the most respected thing, so using this bastard, he will prove to everyone he is strong. He breaks his sword after a few hits, and then stops before slashing him apart, proving himself for good. The trash talker pissed himself too, and now everyone recognizes Encrid as the Spellbreaker. He really destroyed that flag. Suddenly, Andrew gets up and starts chanting Spellbreaker, while also forcing the others to do it. The eyes that were looking down upon him now admire his strength, as they all chant his title, the Spellbreaker. Crace congratulates him, as now he's medium rank, but Encrid feels it's too early for any celebration. He has to get to high rank first. Crace is surprised that he's still going to climb, and that's when someone stands up, noting how interesting he is. The others around him notice the eagle patch on his clothes. He's a border guard, the ones directly serving the crown. He is called the Border Butcher, and he earned that title too. He approaches Encrid and notes that he would like to duel him too, just a friendly one, nothing too special. While everyone is watching, Rem knows that this is going to be difficult for Encrid, who knows that the border guard is equal in strength to Aspen's greyhounds, meaning that he might actually be stronger than Hurrier. However, this also makes him wonder what will even happen if he fights someone without the risk of dying. Will he improve? He invites the man to come, who is amazed that he's not more fearful about going against someone from the Special Forces. After watching his fights, he's far more interesting than expected. The low-ranked soldiers cheer Encrid on now, repeating the same thing. The true kings of battle are in the infantry. The man thinks they are a bunch of idiots, as the border guard is infantry too, and cockiness like this is not healthy. He must humble them right now by using the gentleman in front of him. Even if his attack is swift, Encrid can see his blade and manages to deflect it. The man is surprised to see such concentration from a foot soldier and grabs him, thinking that with this, he has nothing left to do. Encrid, however, grabs his hand, allowing him to rush with his sword from above. The man knows that he will meet death if he's hit by something like that, so he finds the chance to dodge the attack and retaliate in kind with a deadly strike of his own. Unfortunately for him, Encrid is prepared, so he catches the tip of his blade and kicks him in the gut. He has let go of his sword for this, making the man rush in for a final encounter. Encrid pulls out a small blade and strikes at the same angle. Victory is inches away for them both, but that's when the ferry commander appears, and with one swift strike, blocks their attacks. Encrid sees that his crew was already behind the man. They aren't just about to let their leader die after all. Rem notes that he's quite the lucky bastard, but the man says that this is only a duel. If they get excited like this again, they will have to be punished. Encrid cares more about what happened in the fight, as he lost sight of his movements and almost lost. But who knows what would have happened if they fought until death. The man sheaths his sword and tells Encrid that he did not expect much, but he cannot just not recognize his strength now. He is called Torres, and he is the platoon commander of the border guards. Encrid also introduces himself as he accepts the handshake, but every spectator is shocked, as the platoon commanders are special rank soldiers, meaning that Encrid is at least a high-rank soldier. Everyone celebrates this fight, but Encrid really pays them no mind, which Torres likes. He has a feeling that they will see each other again soon enough, so this is goodbye for now. With this, Encrid feels one step closer towards his real objective. That same day, Graham, the first company commander of the heavy armored infantry, invites him to their company. This is the third time Encrid has been invited. First it was the second, and then the third company, perhaps because he broke that spell. Graham explains that his company is an important element of this battalion. He knows that this offer is pretty important, right? Encrid knows that he will be among the elites as soon as he accepts, but he refuses, which makes Graham ask if it's about the 4th company commander. He will talk with him if need be. Encrid tells him that it's not that, and since he has such a sincere face, he will not press him any further. Encrid suggests that he send Rem his way, but nobody wants that crazy bastard in their team. Thanks to him, they survived the last battle, so he should keep at it. Crace is amazed that he's getting so many offers. Should he begin packing his bags or something? Encrid tells him that he's not going, but this only makes Crace wonder why he's rejecting every offer. Right now he will get treated well, no matter where he goes. Before Encrid can answer, Torres comes inside, wanting to ask something important of Encrid. He should come to the border guards. Encrid knows that this is an amazing offer, even better than the 1st company, and Rem feels the same. He would be a fool if he would reject this offer. Torres has realized as soon as they fought that he yearns for a tougher fight. If he comes with them, he will make him train and challenge his body to its limits. His coming to the border guards means that he will realize his full potential. Everyone on his team is resigned to their fate, and so Encrid opens his mouth. If he's talking about a hellish place to train in, there's no other place like this. Encrid does not simply want to reach his full potential. He wants to overcome it, little by little. The seasons change, which is unfortunate for Rem, who, despite being from a tribe, hates the cold so much he wishes he could fight it. He tells Encrid to get him some hot stones immediately, but this only makes him think of how useless this guy is while not in battle. Auden tries to get him to warm up his body by moving and training, but Rem refuses to get rid of his blankie, making Auden ask Encrid if he would like to train, as he will surely thaw his frozen muscles. Encrid excuses himself, as he's on patrol duty right now, so he gets out of the cabin, but not before Rem screams at him to get some hot stones. Encrid is also surprised by how the season changed. At first it got a little chilly, but now it's fully winter. He goes to a populated area, where he meets with the other guards to patrol, a thing they do because of the lack of fighting. The two introduce themselves from left to right. They are Jack and Bo. Today they will be working as a team. Encrid feels something peculiar about these people, like he has heard their names before, but he lets it go for now. Jack feels honored to be on duty with the Spellbreaker, and Bo heard that he got promoted really quickly. To be able to go from the lowest to one of the higher ranks is amazing, but Encrid says that he only got lucky. Jack wants to see how strong he actually is, so he invites him to a duel, which Encrid accepts. After a while of walking, Jack feels that someone cursed him to have to go on patrol in this weather, with Bo agreeing that it's pretty cold. But Encrid does not get why they are so close to him. As they continue their walk through the market, a small hooded figure appears out of the shadows, and suddenly slips towards Encrid. He tries to grab the person, thinking that they are just a kid, but the hooded man suddenly pulls a dagger and stabs it directly in Encrid's chest before he can ever react. Jack and Bo play it out like he's drunk or something, hiding him from the crowd directly. These three are working together. The hooded person asks if he's surprised, but he should know, the Greyhounds never forget a target. Encrid can see that this is a half-fairy, probably an assassin sent by Aspen for breaking the spell. The assassin pulls out his knife brutally, leaving him to die, and Jack tells Rotten to get out of here, as their mission is a success. Encrid remembers them now. They were the wounded recon soldiers, according to Crace. He said that they were hurt a lot, but now he can see that it was an excuse to make contact with Aspen. In this situation, he's 4 against 1, and he will conquer it. Now though, he falls to the ground. bleeding out from his wound and dying on the spot. He wakes up once again, violently getting out of bed, which confuses Rem, but Encrid only wanted to get up with more energy. He swiftly goes outside, where he finds Auden bathing himself in cold water, causing steam to come out of his toned body. Encrid asks about his training method to heat up the body, which Auden confirms exists. It's something essential in wintertime. It also allows a person to be ready for anything, which is a bonus. With this in mind, Encrid asks to be taught it, as he saw Rotten pull the dagger out, but he could not react, because his body was not prepared at all. He also should have noticed how Jack and Bo kept really close. He will probably take those two guys out first, but that half-fairy might do something unexpected. Auden cheers him on. His muscles will be really sad if he can't keep this position. Jack and Bo introduce themselves, Encrid going through the same introduction, but now Jack is more impressed that he doesn't have his coat on, which Encrid excuses by simply saying that he's training. His body is now prepared thanks to Auden's rigorous training. He knows that soon he will come face to face with Rotten, so before he can get too close, he attempts to smack the ones behind him, but Bo dodges, allowing him time to unsheath his sword. Encrid knows that Rotten will either run or attack. Before anything happens, he has to take care of these two. Unfortunately for him, Rotten has another card up his sleeve, as he throws a knife in his direction, hitting Encrid in his vitals. He, however, is impressed to be able to hit him at this distance, and through so much crowd, he has skills. He cannot deny that. Encrid heard it, but it already pierced his heart by the time he heard it. It's designed to be faster than sound. In this situation, he must face close and ranged enemies all at once, which quite excites him. How will he prepare for this? Rotten stabs when he is close, and throws the daggers when he is far. This wall that he must conquer is not really a hard one to understand. It's actually quite simple. Encrid continues his training, although he feels like he's going to die, making Ragna and Rem wonder if it's really as hard as he says it is. Jackson comes into the cabin, only to see all of them spread out and stretching, even the panther. He feels like he walked into something he shouldn't have, so he decides to leave. Encrid knows that he has to find a way to block the dagger that will be thrown at him. Its speed and accuracy, however, is something much deadlier than normal daggers. Jackson comes around and recognizes this as a whistling dagger, but Encrid is curious. Why is it called that? Jackson explains that it makes a sound when it's thrown, and if handled by an expert, the target will not even know what hit them, so it's good to stay far away from these things. Encrid has gained a bit of knowledge from this, but no matter how good Rotten is with his daggers, he cannot do anything if he blocks ahead of time. He attacks the ones behind him again, Bo dodging again, but this time Encrid grabs him and uses his body as a shield against the daggers. Unfortunately, Rotten doesn't seem to care about his teammates, as he throws one dagger into Encrid, one into Bo, and another straight into Jack's neck. Encrid is amazed that he was able to throw 3 at a time, but to kill his own people. Perhaps he never thought of them as such in the first place. Rotten crouches down to his level, impressed by his determination, but persistent lovers like the greyhounds never forget their target. Encrid says that thankfully they do not, which makes Rotten believe that he's a crazy bastard. Encrid has underestimated this whole thing. Even if simple, this wall is still a wall after all. The boatman knows that he is enjoying this, but he should laugh while he still can, as soon he will realize why this is all a curse. Encrid wakes up and swiftly gets out of bed again, thinking that this is actually a blessing in disguise. He goes to Jackson and asks about the whistle dagger, who wonders where this question even came from, but Encrid wants an explanation of them. Jackson relents and tells him that it's basically multiple thin blades pressed into one, which causes that whistle sound when it flies. At one point, it was called the dagger that can only be heard, as it's really difficult to follow with the human eye. Encrid asks what would happen if he wanted to dodge it, but Jackson says that he can't. Encrid asks what if he had to, which makes Jackson ask in turn, does he really have to? Encrid confirms as much, making Jackson ponder where the hell he even heard about all this. He explains that there's not really a point in seeing an already thrown dagger. He has to watch the hand of the thrower first, as the path it takes is dictated at the moment it's thrown. There are naturally ways to hide that throw, but a skilled eye can still spot them. Encrid asks if he could learn something like that, but with his current skills, Jackson notes that he won't really be able to do anything. Encrid knows that he's just talking shit about him, but Jackson asks if he wants to be taught how to throw daggers. If he's not confident, though, he can forget about it. Encrid knows that this is an opportunity, so he decides to learn. Later, he meets up with Jack and Bo, remembering what Jackson said to him. The moment he throws, he should relax his entire body and focus as the blade leaves his hand. Seeing and dodging it is basically the same. As soon as Rotten shows up, Encrid unsheathes his sword and instantly kills Jack, with Bo not offering much resistance either. Everyone around him runs away in a panic, allowing Encrid to focus on his real opponent. He can see him switch from relaxed to focused. He can avoid dying instantly if he protects his heart, so that's what he does. Encrid does manage to block the first dagger using his hand, but the second one goes directly in his chest. They are incredibly fast, and even if it was only for a split second, he saw it. In that split second, he saw the dagger come to him. Rotten approaches and prepares to say the same line, but Encrid already knows. Persistent lovers never forget their target. As Rotten wonders how he knows, Encrid is glad that he's getting better. A few more visits from this guy, and he will know all of his dirty little tricks. On the next day, Encrid eliminates the two behind him as quickly as possible, and then focuses solely on Rotten and how he rotates his dagger. He can see its trajectory now, so he blocks it with his arm guard. Rotten can feel the anxiety of his advance, and Encrid dodges to the side, thinking that the attack will come from the other direction, but Rotten swiftly changes its course and stabs him in the heart. He is amazed by the fact that he can adjust its course according to the enemy. This weapon, even if it took his life so many times, is absolutely incredible, and he wants to wield it. In his next life, he practices with daggers, Jackson asking what he's even doing, but Encrid only says that he's training with whistle daggers. He knows that what he has is not a real whistle dagger, but he will have one soon enough. A part of his homemade dagger breaks free, almost taking Jackson with it. On the 8th today, Encrid successfully dodges his delayed attack, but unfortunately, it seems that he has another problem. A sharpshooter eliminates him from behind, meaning that he must keep him in mind the next time. On the 9th day, he successfully takes him out with a dagger, but this only delays his death, as Rotten throws a dagger at him that he cannot dodge. Encrid continues to train until he can throw daggers pretty well, but he feels that besides the basics, he's missing something important. Jackson notes that he got everything down, but where did he learn to throw like this? Encrid can't say that he learned from him, so he lies. He saw someone throw one before and he just copied them. Jackson thinks that he must be a genius to do something like that, but no matter. Has he heard of the throwing blade technique? It was created by an assassin called Georg, and the name comes from his weapon, the whistle dagger. Georg strived to create a blade without sound, thus he created a very thin, single-bladed knife, but it was too difficult to handle, which led to the production of the whistle dagger they know today. Encrid didn't expect for the dagger to have such a story, but Jackson thought that he would already know about it, since his stance is perfectly suited for the whistle dagger throwing. On the 10th day, Encrid decides to change the route, which Jack is against, as they will be punished if they don't do their jobs well. Encrid says that he's the highest ranked person here, and since he will take responsibility, there's nothing to worry about. He can hear the two whispering about this change of plan, which they really don't like. Encrid knows that the market is the perfect stage for the assassins. He does not need to play along with their games anymore. Jack notes that they should really return, but Encrid asks what they got from betraying their land. A bunch of gold coins? This prompts the two to immediately jump in and attack, but Encrid easily strikes them down with 2 swift strokes of his blade. As soon as he's done with them, Rotten and the blue assassin arrive, which he feels is kind of late, but it's no matter. They should come with all they've got. Rotten throws 4 daggers at the same time, but it doesn't matter now because Encrid can see his hand. The blue assassin moves behind him to strike, but Encrid takes him out with a dagger. Rotten takes this as an opportunity and strikes while his back is still exposed, but Encrid blocks his dagger expertly. Even if it hurts him, it will not kill him again. Rotten is now frightened and asks who the hell he is, but Encrid feels that it's not for him to know. Anyhow, how many of these beautiful weapons does he have on his person? Rotten can see that this bastard can throw these things. Is he also an assassin? He answers Encrid's question, saying that he only has 2. He is quite jealous that he only has 1, but Rotten tells him to not joke around. He's really sick in the head. He should also know that as soon as he throws the one in his hand, he will die. Encrid understands, but they will find out only after the fact. Encrid can't see his hands, but can see his arm, so if he keeps his posture and his eyes ready, he can easily dodge those daggers. Encrid can immediately notice that Rotten is throwing 2 at once, so he swiftly dodges and throws one of his own, which only damages Rotten's cloak. Even if he said that he has 2, Encrid knows that he probably has more, but so does he. Encrid throws his last dagger at Rotten, who can barely dodge, but is actually quite mad that he lied. He readies his blade, and so does Encrid, surprised to see this bastard actually pull a blade out. There's no rule teaching the assassins to only use long-ranged attacks, but his problem is that he doesn't recognize this attack, as it's low and very fast. Unfortunately for Rotten, it doesn't matter anymore. He grabs his hand with extreme swiftness and announces that this is the end. With a chop to the forehead, he ends Rotten's miserable life. He has climbed over this wall with only 10 tries, fighting, losing, and getting stronger to eventually succeed. These things have come to give him alive. He looks at Rotten's body and opens his clothes. revealing a bandolier of knives that he really wants. He goes to report to the ferry commander about what just happened while wearing that same bandolier, saying that all of this was once again just mere coincidence. The ferry commander wonders if it's still a coincidence that he only got off with a scratch against 3 people, but Encrid says that the goddess of luck is really on his side. The ferry commander eyes him for a moment, before giving up and telling him to return to his post. He does just that and returns to his squad lodging, but as soon as he opens the door, an axe flies at his face, which he only has seconds to dodge. This was naturally thrown by Rem, who is glad to see that he dodged his sneak attack. Encrid asks if he has gone insane, but Rem was only training him, because he has assassins on his ass after all. As revenge, he suddenly gives Rem a hot stone and tells him to eat it. Rem believes that it's a potato at first, only for his hands to burn the moment he touches it. Encrid notices that his hair has grown pretty long, so he tells Crace to give him a haircut. He asks for 10 coppers. Encrid says 5, and they meet at 8. As Encrid gets said haircut, he tells Crace that he's charging more now. Does he not get a squad discount? Crace tells him to go to one in the city if he doesn't like the price, but Encrid refuses. The ones in the city suck after all. The snow continues to fall, and Crace notices how cold it is. Rem doesn't like the snow and cold at all, which Ragna agrees with. Auden believes it's a test from God, and Encrid wonders why they are all out here in the first place. He also thinks of how the assassins get into the border guard, and when exactly did they turn. He asks Crace if he knows where Jack, Bo, and Rotten are from. Who actually knows? Jack was forced to conscript after he was caught as a pickpocket, and Bo insulted a noble right in his face. Rem can't believe how fine these people were, and Encrid agrees. As for Rotten, he was from a failed merchant association, a mercenary by profession. They all joined in the past year. They must have been in a guild together. Encrid thinks about it. He can only deduce one thing from a guild that left its members a year ago. The Thieves Guild. It's a guild only in name, really, as in reality it's a place filled with thieves. A Thieves Guild member would know the entire city easily, so it makes sense. He asks Jackson if he knows anything about this Thieves Guild, who wonders why he asked him, but Encrid thought he might know. Jackson can't believe that he has become so brazen, but tells him that after the restructure, his contact with the guild has been cut off, so he doesn't know anymore. Crace is finally done with his haircut. Encrid is only surprised by how much it's snowing, which makes Jackson say that he will be out in the city tonight. Rem knows that he's trying to get out of shoveling duty, which he will not let him do. Encrid sees this and tells them that they should go on a mission. If they agree, they won't have to shovel snow. Everyone immediately agrees, even Crace, but Encrid still has to get permission from the company commander. Ragna calls him lazy for not even doing that, so they all retreat inside, patiently waiting for him to do it. Encrid tells the ferry commander that he believes the Thieves Guild is behind the assassins, and he wants to bust them while he can. They both look at each other, as the ferry commander feels something strange about this request. Is he sure that he's not doing this to skip snow duty? Encrid denies that fact, although he cannot believe how sharp this woman is. As the squad walks through the city, Crace wonders where the Thieves Guild thing came from. He's probably talking about the Gilfin Guild, but does he even have any info on them? Encrid does not. That is why they are here to get it. He tells Jackson that they will wait at the inn while he finds out where they are. Jackson asks how he's supposed to do that, but Encrid tells him to figure it out. Crace really doesn't like that order, as it's extremely vague, but Jackson understands, making Crace believe that perhaps he is the weird one here. They arrive at an inn, where they all have a bunch of food. Crace asks Encrid what he will do if the Gilfins are innocent, but Encrid doesn't really care. Even if not involved with those assassins, they are still criminals, and they need to get cleared out sooner rather than later. Crace has already become acquainted with their server, Lesa, and whispers something in her ear. Encrid does not pay it much mind, but wonders where Jackson is, as he's late. Even though he has skills, he's starting with no real clues. He wonders if his orders were too vague, to the point that he feels bad for him. Jackson is propped up somewhere high, looking around and not moving at all, letting the snow fall on him. He suddenly notices 2 strange figures, which gives him an idea. Encrid asks Crace if he knows that woman, and tells him that she's Lesa. Her father is a shoemaker, and her dream is to open up an inn in the big capital. Encrid is surprised by how much he knows, but Crace only knows so much because she might be a valued customer. Jackson finally comes back, covered in snow and freezing, only to see everyone enjoying a warm meal while in a warm place. Encrid notices his annoyance and tells him to eat, but Jackson believes that they shouldn't wait and go right now. Rem doesn't want to, as it's cold outside, but Jackson asks if he wants a shower in his own blood. He promises it will be the warmest thing right now. Encrid agrees that they should go now, but the snow is quite immobilizing, so they need to be careful and leave when it stops snowing. Encrid looks out the window for a solid 5 seconds, and then says that it won't stop, so they should go. Crace asks if he didn't just say they will wait, but Encrid has been careful enough. As they walk through the slums, two beggars notice them and pull out their daggers, charging the group with murder in their eyes. Rem immediately turns to them with a smile and smashes one with his axe before smashing the other with his fist. Rem asks Jackson if these are his rat buddies, with Christ believing that they are from the Gilfin Guild. Jackson discovers the entrance to their hideout, but it seems to be locked. Auden tells him to move a little bit, as he will politely knock for them. He raises his fist up and knocks once, surprised to see that the door magically opened. Rem wonders what kind of knocking this is, but Encrid doesn't care, as long as the door is open. As they go in, Rem asks what he's going to ask them, but Encrid says that they should subdue them first, then they will have time to talk. They continue to approach the door, and those inside know that Encrid is coming. The leader knows that reporting their failure will be a pain, so they should take care of him themselves. One of them wonders if it's okay, as his squad is with him, but before the leader can say that they are a bunch of nobodies, Auden knocks again, but this time with his foot. Rem immediately rushes in to kill them all, but Encrid begins his speech. Those who have never killed the weak, those who can surrender, and those who do not wish to die, should throw down their weapons and cross this line. Everyone else will be killed. Rem asks why they aren't killing them now, but Encrid just wanted to look cool, and he believes that he is. The leader can't believe that a mere grunt dares to order them around, and Auden tells him that they are clouded by their demons. They will not listen until they force them to. Encrid resorts to using force then, and asks their strongest to come forwards. The leader wants this to happen, and tells their strongest swordsman Wyvern to go, who immediately pulls out his blade. He wonders if he can block his blade, as he has never been beaten, but as he talks, he suddenly charges in, only for Encrid to deflect his blade and stab Wyvern in the shoulder. This is something from the Valen mercenary sword technique, to stab while talking. This is what he was stuck at before, but he has overcome it by a lot. Encrid believes that he doesn't need to see anything else if this is their strongest. He will give them one last chance. Either they surrender or die. His squad looks at him unimpressed, all of them believing that he's just trying to act cool. One of them throws his weapon and surrenders, making the leader jump up and try to strike him. Before he can cut him down, however, Encrid throws a knife in his head, killing him instantly. Rem can't believe that he thought he was cool, while Auden does believe so, and Krace is amazed. Jackson thinks that he's not bad, while Ragna suffers from cringe, like Rem. Encrid knows that he must have looked pretty cool, but this makes all the thieves surrender and fall to their knees. Rem wonders what they should do. It would be better to kill them now, since they might become trouble again. One of them begs them not to kill them. There are people here with sick mothers and poor families. Encrid believes that it doesn't excuse their crimes, so the man says that if he has to kill someone, he should kill him, as he is Gilfin. Encrid is surprised, so he was the boss, and not that brute right there? Gilfin denies it. That man was indeed the boss, but he also isn't Gilfin. He is. Encrid is confused beyond his wits, so Krace explains that they named the guild after random people on purpose. If they start getting chased by the law, they can ditch that person and run. Gilfin explains that their boss was a bastard, a real rotten-to-the-core individual, but the rest are not like that. Again, if he wishes for blood, he can have his. Everyone around him begins to try and defend him, as Gilfin is kind, and some of them even ask to be killed in his place. Rem can't believe that Encrid would kill them when they are like this. He did not take him to be such a devil. Encrid tells him to shut it. He was the one who suggested they kill them in the first place. Gilfin tells them about the guild fortune. They can have everything in that stash if they let them live. Christ begins to smile, as he knows there's some cold, hard coins involved. Gilfin points it to them, but they need to find the key first. Auden proves them otherwise by gently pulling the door open, and so Encrid tells his squad to take as much as they want. Rem immediately finds some thermal leather, which is extremely warm, but Ragna wonders if it's that important. Encrid also finds a piece of flexible yet strong leather armor, which is not bad at all for him. Krace gets his attention, and says that they should take over this guild. Encrid asks if he's really asking for him to become a thief, which Krace is, but one that does not kill. Even if they were to take down this guild, within like a week or two, another will pop out in its place. So if things are like this, they should use this guy as a puppet to run it. Encrid feels that this is all far too convenient, so he asks what he told that girl, as it was strange for all these guild members to be gathered here. Christ is surprised that he noticed, although they got them all in one try. If he allows it, he will get him a monthly krona payment, and will also gather information. Encrid doesn't really do this for money, but it can't hurt. He allows it. So Christ tells Gilfin that from now on, their guild is one that does not kill. They will sort out the bad people and send them to prison, while they slowly reform this organization. Gilfin tells him that they will all die if they do not disband. Their boss worked for Aspen and took their money. Once every spring and fall, a frog comes to check on this organization, and if he realizes what happened, he will not just let them go, as the frogs are beasts. Christ tells him that they shouldn't worry. They have some beasts of their own after all. Encrid believes that they should go back since they have completed their objective. But Rem looks at him and wonders, are the others done with shoveling snow? Ragna also believes they have some unfinished business, and Auden wants to reflect and preach the word of God just a little bit longer. Jackson also believes that he had something to do, so he will return tomorrow morning. Encrid understands and apologizes. He did not see that they were all so busy. The next day, Encrid reports the return of his squad, and also the fact that they have destroyed the Thieves Guild. The ferry commander asks if he had fun skipping shovel duty, but Encrid hasn't a clue about what she's saying. She has heard that he liked to duel, so they should spar right now. Encrid accepts, but as soon as he tries to unsheath his sword, he gets knocked down. The ferry commander tells him to get up, but when he tries to pick up his sword, she knocks him down again. Encrid is amazed by her sword's thinness. It's almost like a whip. This continues until Encrid is left out of breath, leaving the ferry commander confused. She has seen this man respond instantly, almost like he came from the future, but now, he acts like a grunt. She really does not know who he is, but it is still true that he broke that spell and took down 4 assassins. She sees that it's snowing again, so she will be watching him, this time more diligently. Encrid believes that he's pathetic. He has trained so much with the sword, but he has never done anything with his bare hands. He has finally realized what he is lacking, something that requires the use of body and limbs, that thing being martial arts. He goes to Auden while he trains, who tells him that the most important basic of martial arts is a trained physique. Encrid looks at him as someone demands to know who pulled an entire tree out, but Auden says that he has a method of training that pushes the body to the extreme. It is called the isolation method, which will be very painful, to the point where he might as well be dead. Encrid tells him that this is his specialty, but after doing it for some time, his whole body feels like it's going to collapse. Auden tells him that the fundamental principle of the isolation technique is overloading. His muscles become stronger as they are being torn. Encrid can barely stay up, but Auden believes that he can do it for at least 10 seconds. He can see that this is his limit. He also asks if he does not regret starting sooner, as he needs to grow his body for quite some time before he can properly learn martial arts. Encrid does not have the time to regret. The past is the past, and now he is only thinking in the moment. If he was not, he wouldn't have ever made it past the first wall and probably gone crazy. He asks Auden to teach him something else while he does this, who is amazed by his diligence and work ethic. But that's why he respects him. Since he asked, however, he will return to the post, on all fours today. As he trains, the Panther watches him diligently, seeing the effort that he's putting in. Later that night, Encrid comes inside completely beat, making Rem wonder if someone is bullying him, but he was only just training. As he lays down, the Panther lays down with him, prompting Rem to say that he needs to give it a name already. Encrid tries to name the Panther Heather, or Blackie Blue, which the Panther absolutely hates. Rem understands it. Those names should be considered abuse. Encrid thought that Blackie Blue was cute, but he will have to think of a name since it's going to stay. After falling asleep, Encrid wakes up in a mystical realm, which makes him think of the ferryman, but this does not seem like his vibe. Suddenly a woman appears behind him and she only tells him one thing. Her name is Esther. Encrid wakes up from the dream only to have the same woman by his side in bed. She is naturally embarrassed, but Encrid only wishes her a good night and hugs her tighter. The next day everything is back to normal, and Rem asks if he's going again. Isn't his body feeling sore from yesterday? Encrid is actually feeling pretty light, but that's because Esther has used her magic on him. She needs this man to free her from her curse. She cannot have him die while he throws around his body. Rem asks if he met with the priest or something, but that's not it. Encrid says that he dreamt about some woman. Rem is surprised, as he didn't take him as someone who would dream of women. But how was she? Encrid thinks back and says that she was pretty. Esther is glad that his eyes are working fine. It's common for magicians to explore magic and knowledge, and in her pursuit of those things, she got cursed and turned into a beast, her powers bound. She was wandering the fields one day, but she suddenly felt the scent of a curse, which led her to this guy. Encrid continues his training as Esther watches, but he notices her and accidentally calls her Blackie Blue, which she absolutely hates. The realm of magic is affected by the power of names, so if someone carelessly calls her by another name, her powers will get weaker and weaker. She used what little power she had left to tell him, but she made a mistake. She can only thank God that this guy is pretty dull, but she can see that he's under a curse. It is not set in yet, but it's far more powerful than what she is afflicted with. His is a curse that slowly eats away at weaker curses, so if she sits beside him, she will eventually recover her mystical powers. Encrid continues his training, now fighting Auden one-on-one, and even though he is able to dodge some attacks, most still hit him, proving Auden's blinding speed. He explains that for martial arts, his body must always be ready. Just like with swordsmanship, the training and techniques are all meaningless if he is not fast. And even though he's as fast as an old turtle, his body is changing. He also really doesn't want to quit, judging by his expression. Just like that, 1 month has passed. The green begins to sprout through the melting snow, and Encrid continues his training. He fights with Rem, who can't believe how much he has improved. But he is glad, as now he can finally have a proper fight with him. Later that evening, he invites Ragna to a training session, who says that he's still lacking in adaptability after it's done, but his fundamentals are top tier. His muscle memory should allow him to do this even in his sleep, but it will require endless repetition, which is not at all easy. Encrid tells him not to worry after catching his breath. Repetition is his specialty after all. After his training is done for the day, he retreats to his bed, where he thinks that all this training is great and all, but some real-life experience would also be pretty good. At that moment, he hears a rustle come from the left, so he immediately catches the knife that was coming for his neck. Jackson congratulates him for improving so much. He certainly won't die in an ambush anymore. Kreis tells them to go outside if they want to train. They are kicking up all the dust in the cabin. Encrid asks why he's so early. Shouldn't he be out earning money right now? Esther gets out of bed with a purr, and Kreis immediately moves in her spot to see if he can find a claw, as that's worth 10,000 krona. Someone suddenly knocks on the door. It's the ferry commander, who asks Encrid to come with her. He immediately says that the snow is gone, but she doesn't care about that. She has a new mission for him. He must take care of it on the mercenary soldier board. Encrid knows about this. It's a policy that runs alongside the soldier ranking system, allowing people in the cities to hire soldiers as mercenaries. It's a lot cheaper than normal mercenaries, and has better trained people who are more polite, so it's pretty popular. He wanted to test himself, so he has no reason not to accept. At the same time, a guard is going back to his bed, glad that he is off today for today. It has been straining on him since he has been doing it non-stop. He suddenly spots the ferry commander, and Encrid, who asks how many squad members he will have to take. She explains that there will be 3 in total, but he should only bring 1 squad member with him because she will be the 3rd. Encrid is surprised that she's actually coming to a mission herself. He wants to know why. The guard walking next to them knows about the rumors. Those two are often together. Perhaps they are even dating. He leans in closer only to hear the ferry commander ask if he's uncomfortable with them doing a mission together. This touches the guard's heart, and more rumors start to spread because of him. These rumors escalate further and further, some saying that they were together even before the army, until the point that it said they already have kids together. The next morning, as Encrid is training, he hears other soldiers talk about his relationship with the ferry commander, most agreeing that they look good together. After he goes back to the bunks, Rem immediately laughs at him, noting that he's finally home. He asks how many months it's been. The baby surely is going to come soon. Encrid, with a rather annoyed face, says that he has heard wrong. These are all baseless rumors. Kreis tells him to not be shy as they will find out whether he likes it or not, but Encrid denies it again. Ragna is glad for him. If he keeps her by his side, they can train together, while Auden prays that his future with her is blessed. Encrid feels rather bullied by his own team, and Rem asks when they are going on his little date. It will be weird being the 3rd wheel, but he has to do it. Encrid is confused at first, but he must be talking about the mission, which he is not bringing him on. Rem is confused. Who else is he bringing then? Jackson confirms that he's ready and says that they should get going, but as they leave, Rem screams out, "How can he choose that rat and not him? Has he gone insane from the training?" Encrid notes that this is a tactical decision. He would be the first guy to throw an axe at the commissioner if he got mad, so he would rather not have to deal with that. After they are outside, Jackson asks if he brought him only because he wouldn't make so much trouble, so Encrid tells him that besides that, he takes these kinds of missions often, so he would be of help, right? Jackson understands, but he wants to give him a nice piece of advice. He should not give all his heart to a woman, as it will come back to hurt him in the future. Encrid looks him dead in the eyes and says that he has no need for advice in that department. After they meet up with the ferry commander, he asks when the commissioner will get here, who says that they will come soon. Encrid knows that she heard the rumors and that this will be rather awkward. Sure enough, she asks if they have done something for so many people to think that they have children together. Encrid denies anything while Jackson lets out a snicker, making Encrid ask if he dares to laugh in this situation. The ferry commander asks if these questions are making him uncomfortable, which he denies. She asks if it makes him glad, which he doesn't know how to respond to, and then she asks what he likes so much about it. Encrid really would like to know why she is asking him all of this so suddenly, but suddenly the commissioner arrives. The ferry commander is quite annoyed, as this was getting quite fun. Encrid doesn't know what to think anymore. Was that really a joke when she was basically expressionless? Their mission is to protect the child of a wealthy merchant. In the process of deciding which heir will inherit the Roca Fried Trading Company, they have been hired to make sure they don't try anything funny. As she descends the carriage, Encrid thought they would be dealing with some fat toad, but it's the opposite. The woman introduces herself as Leona, heiress to the Rogue Fried Company, and their protection target. As they walk, Encrid finds it weird that not a word has been spoken since the greeting, and what little communication they have only happens through her maid, who is telling them that they will get a room in the inn, and then wait for the other heirs. They really just hired them as guards and nothing else. He remembers what Auden says. Identifying the age, body stance, and gaze of a person is all useful info. Figuring out the enemy's strategy is a skill in itself. Encrid begins doing just that, spotting that the guard in front of him is left-handed and also has heavy footsteps, meaning that she's pretty armed. Just that sword is telling him that she's strong, but nobody here seems to be as strong as a special rank. Even though he feels like the analysis is lacking, it will have to do for now. Jackson believes that they should partake in a game since they have a ways to go. They should identify sounds. With that invitation, they both begin reciting what they hear first, but Jackson seems to have the upper hand. He is trained in this after all. After they get to the inn, Leona and her guard go into her room upstairs and order them to stay below. The ferry commander sits down next to Jackson and Encrid to join their little game, but this moves Encrid out completely, as he cannot hope to compete against these two. However, the things they are saying no longer seem to be a game, as someone is coming to them, dagger in hand and ready to strike. As the assassins pull up, it doesn't take long for them to react, as they both suspected this ambush. The other guards are rightfully scared. One tries to get to Encrid, but he swiftly takes him out. He hears screams coming from above, and since the commissioner comes first in these types of missions, he rushes to their rescue. An assassin sees this and throws a bunch of knives at him, but Jackson covers his back by holding a stool over him. The ferry commander swiftly sweeps the area of the assassins, who are beginning to show worry, but they are still confident because they outnumber them. As Jackson fights, the ferry commander looks at him and notices he's much stronger than Encrid. Most of the squad members are, but they still listen to and trust his orders. She wonders who helped create all this. It is honestly quite interesting. She kills the guy that was rushing her by simply holding her sword forward. Encrid continues his quest, and it's quite easy for him. After encountering the assassin who tried to get Krang, and that half-fairy assassin, such measly attempts at assassination no longer faze him. Another rushes in, a perfect opportunity for Encrid to test his new physical skills. Although he's still too slow, he can move more freely now. He can feel a difference from the past. Suddenly, Leona's guard is thrown outside of the room, allowing Encrid to move in and see that an assassin is over Leona, with a maid desperately trying to defend her. Encrid would like to use the whistle daggers, but he's too close and stopping him is not a guarantee. Perhaps he can reach them if he tried, but to walk so quickly requires power, and he has only seen it once. He tries to perfectly imitate that person. Even if he can replicate that power just a little bit, it would be enough. Sure enough, he lunges forward at top speed, and before the strike lands, he gets in front of them. He is struck by the cold blade, but even if it hurts, thanks to the leather armor he got, he did not get cut. Encrid believes that they should talk downstairs, so he tackles the assassin and throws him out of the window, landing the assassin straight on his back and knocking the air out of him. Encrid is glad that he managed to cushion the fall somehow, and since there are no more enemies on the second floor, he can focus on this guy. Even if he suffered that fall, he still rose up. That takes grit. He asks Encrid if he's a border guard, which he is not. The assassin is glad. It means that there's no reason why he should lose this fight. Encrid observes him, seeing that he has swords of different lengths, but that does not damage his balance. He probably uses the flowing sword, so responding would be difficult. The assassin vows to kill him, and then that woman, but Encrid tells him that he talks too much, making him charge in. This is Encrid's first fight in a while, against a pretty strong guy. He is happy, however, as he has loads of things to try. The assassin transforms his positioning, making Encrid recognize this as a Valen duet. He dodges the first strike that flows into the second and then the third. They both back away before the assassin moves in once again, but Encrid dodges this time too. The assassin is confused. How can this random soldier avoid his strikes like this? Encrid is impressed by his skills. He could not learn what he just did because he lacks talent. Judging by his speed and accuracy, he's as good as that stabbing bastard that killed him again and again. The assassin moves in with rage in his eyes, but Encrid can see his blade and its trajectory. He's about to try and double swipe at him, but this allows Encrid to move in with his blade and stab him in the chest before he can reach him. He was going for the heart, but he did not hit it. He pulls his blade out of the assassin, thinking that he must improve, perhaps training with Ragna or Jackson. The other assassins run away out of the inn, Encrid immediately preparing to run after them, but Jackson appears and says that his fight drew a lot of attention. Encrid points at the guys getting away, but Jackson doesn't really care, as they were not hired to chase after criminals. Since they are gone, the commissioner is safe. The ferry commander also arrives, saying that he didn't do bad. Encrid asks if she's well, so she teases him. He is quite worried about his lover. She's not going to be able to sleep with these butterflies in her stomach tonight. Encrid stares at her with a sorrowful expression, and unfortunately, Leona has heard this, so she asks if they are in a relationship. Encrid immediately denies such notions, but the ferry commander asks if all of this was a joke to him. Encrid doesn't even know what to say anymore, but can only think about what the hell is wrong with these people. Leona asks for his name, so after she gets it, she thanks him for his protection. He will be properly compensated in the future. Encrid says that it's fine as he bows. It was what was asked of him after all. The next day, more guards arrived in case of a second attack, and the few assassins that were captured were sent to the army. Encrid sits alone at a table and wonders who they are, as some of them were pretty skilled. They were probably sent by the other heirs or something. Leona descends from her room and sees Encrid, surprised to see him up so early. Encrid explains that this is his shift, so he has to abide by it. She suddenly sits next to him and asks him to come to her side. She will give him a chance to join their personal forces. She is asking because their Roquefried company leaves little to desire at this point. Their key partners include but are not limited to the shepherd of the wilderness of the Beastlands, the Black Leather Guild that is famous for hunting dragons, and even the Glacial Rangers, who are the defenders of permafrost. Additionally, the Roquefried map, which outlines key routes and regional specialties, is valuable enough to let those who choose to sell it without wanting anything more for the rest of their lives. All this power is too much to leave to the stupid sons of the previous owner. She must grow this organization, and she needs talented people. People like Encrid, who are talented enough to save her from sure death, and with a personality that does not require additional rewards. A position such as this is wanted by many, so he must not be different. She promises everything he wants, as long as he joins her. Encrid refuses immediately, but when Leona wants to ask why, Jackson arrives and says that it's unsightly to ask after being refused. The ferry commander comes down too, saying that it's unbecoming of her. Leona understands, and since the other heirs will arrive at noon, she bids them farewell to prepare. Jackson didn't expect him to seduce a rich heiress too. Are difficult women his type? He really has to stop going around seducing every woman he sees. Encrid denies all of that, but the ferry commander is hurt. She didn't expect him to be a two-timer. Encrid has had enough and apologizes, but it appears that his tastes have changed. Jackson and the ferry commander are shocked. They did not expect a comeback, but the other guards seem to have heard this, and now believe that he is an asshole who doesn't appreciate his woman. It seems that in this game of fake relationships and love, he remains the loser. As the sun appears over the horizon, Kreis appears too and has heard everything. He spent a night with the commissioner, right? The guard can't believe that he scored a rich woman now and that he's such a heartbreaker. Encrid asks if he's here to make fun of him, but Kreis has come to report about the Gilfin Guild. He has to stay on top after all. Encrid says that it's good he came. He has something he must do. He is still interested in the assassins who got away. He must catch them and see what they are about to do. Rinos Roquefried, the previous owner of the Roquefried Merchant Association, was said to be an honorable man who has a sharp sense for business. He considered his stepdaughter Leona his successor because she shared that same sharp sense and intellect, but he could not bear to push his son out of the race. Because of his indecision, the Merchant Association remained without a successor as he passed away. As his son is being escorted, one of his men says that the assassins have failed, and it's because of him, because he did not leave it to them. This is Paul-eyed Roquefried, son of Rinos Roquefried. The man says that they will have to figure something out, although their agreement still stands, right? Paul-eyed, with a certain stutter in his voice, confirms as such. They will be rewarded handsomely if he inherits everything, as promised. The silent man next to them says nothing. He's a man of few words after all. Soon enough, they barge into the tavern where Leona is held, and he immediately begins complaining. There is too much dust here, but it's to be expected from Leona. Encrid analyzes the silent man closely and can see that he is strong. They exchange glances for a few seconds, but he soon backs off. Paul-eyed screams at them to stop sitting around and get Leona down here, making Encrid believe that it was really a good choice to bring Jackson. If he had brought Rem, he would have certainly split his head open already. That's when he sees Jackson slowly moving in with his blade, forcing Encrid to hold him in place as Paul-eyed screams at them to move. Fortunately, Leona comes down of her own volition, saying that it's unbecoming of him to scream in such a place, but he is also late. Paul-eyed tells her that he doesn't care about that. She should start educating her bumpkin guards first. She suddenly slaps the living daylights out of him, making Encrid wonder if there even is a person around these parts who won't immediately resort to violence. Paul-eyed, rightfully angry, asks if she's gone insane, but Leona begs to differ that he is the crazy one. He seems to be messing around with a soldier mercenary of the border guards. Does he want to end up in prison for the rest of his life? Polide did not know about that. He did not know what to say. But that's when the man clears his throat, making Polide say that it was not him. Why does she dare to frame him like this? She is just a mere outsider in this family, yet she dares to yell at him? Leona agrees. She was adopted, but he cannot even analyze trade routes or calculate finances. Polide makes up an excuse, saying that it's a job for his servants to do. Leona is annoyed. She wouldn't even waste time like this if their father's will said that the successor should be decided after talks. This makes Encrid believe that the previous head was quite soft. Leona is much more suited for the successor position. Why did he give this brat a second chance? Leona believes the only argument he has for succession is that he's a blood relative. However, no matter how close he looks at him, he's nothing like her father. His ignorant behavior and ugly mug, she can only wonder where he got it from. Polide immediately begins to pull out his blade in anger, making Encrid do the same, but he sees the silent man do so as well, although in a much calmer manner. The whole room freezes as Encrid stands in front of Leona, his blade inching further out of its sheath as Polide's guards attempt to protect him. Encrid analyzes the silent man's stance a little closer, seeing that it's actually the swift sword. He wonders how fast he will be, perhaps faster than even a whistle dagger. He is too eager to find out, so he desperately wants to fight. He wants to see this man's style of blade. The silent man begins to forcefully move his blade forward, making Encrid smile in anticipation, but that's when someone commands them to stop. The border guard have arrived under direct command by the crown. They will consider their actions treason if they do not put away their blades immediately. Polide is scared by them, and Encrid does as he is told, but he is annoyed that he did not get a chance to fight. Jackson remembers what he said, but if they are both honest, he's the weirdest one here. Torres says that hired assassins were foreigners, so they are taking over this case. They have confessed that they were paid by a merchant association. Surely he did not hire them because of the inheritance dispute, right? Polide is spooked, but the man comes in his defense, asking if the confessions mention any specific merchant association. There probably is no evidence pointing at them. Torres likes that he talks a lot. He must think that they are stupid or something. Leona comes forward and makes an offer to him. They should find more evidence to identify the true perpetrators of this attempt. He should lock both of them up until he finds someone responsible. Polide did not agree to this, but Encrid is confused. Why is the victim asking to be locked up like this? Torres explains that those captured were grunts with no real information. They just kept repeating that they were told to do it by their boss. Leona says that they still have people to interrogate, as a few of them escaped. One of them might be that boss, so shouldn't they try to find them? The leader asks what happens if they still can't find the ones behind this after all this, but Leona supposes that it's theirs to take care of. It's not prudent for her to discuss this matter with them, so they will return to the city under the condition that they all return if he summons them. Encrid sees this as a misplay. They won't be able to protect Leona if she goes to the city, and her bodyguards won't be able to take on Polides, especially that rapier guy. She will immediately die if she does this. She's a smart woman. She knows this already. The only question is why she's even doing it. Leona is a merchant at heart. She will not ask them to do something without compensation. She will give this to whoever catches the people who got away. Her maid gives her something wrapped in a cloth, which is revealed to be the fourth work of the Carmen collection, Carmen's stiletto. This is their reward. Jackson becomes very motivated by what he has seen and volunteers to take this case. Encrid is surprised to see him like this. Just why is that dagger so special? Polide starts to scream at Leona for even bringing such an item to this backwater place. Does she even know how much that thing is worth? Leona calmly tells him that it's hers, and she can do whatever she pleases with it. All the while, Encrid asks Jackson about the stiletto, who is surprised that he does not know about it yet. He goes on to explain that it was made by a legendary weaponsmith called Carmen, who was originally a slave, but he got out and worked as an assassin to enact his revenge, using the 7 weapons that he made. The fourth among those weapons was the stiletto. There are people who would offer up their families for that thing. Since it has come to this, Torres explains that everyone will be held here by them. Nobody will leave this inn unless they let them. Encrid tells Jackson to not worry about the stiletto, as he has sent Christ to get that runaway, so they should hear from him soon enough. As Polide continues to bicker, the silent man gives Encrid a look, who also looks back. With that, he leaves, and nothing really happens until night falls, and everyone is basically stuck in the inn's area. Polide wonders what will happen if the assassination attempt leads back to them, but his assistant tells him to relax. They cannot do anything against the border guards anyway, so they have to wait. If they, as siblings, cannot figure out who becomes the successor, then the decision will be left to the investors. That's the moment they need to use. Polide does not inspire confidence with his tone, although he agrees he has sent word out to all of them that if they select him, they would be handsomely rewarded. The The silent man looks out of the window and sees Encrid doing his usual overbearing workout, seeming just as dedicated as before. After he is done, Torres says that he's surprised he still continues with that arduous training regime. Does he not consider this the perfect opportunity to have some time off? Encrid would think the same if they were equal, but he is not a genius like him, so time truly matters. The stuff people like him learn in a week, he needs a month, or even a year to grasp. This is why he cannot waste time, and he doesn't want to anyway. He will use each day to create a better foundation for his future. One of the border guards begins to wonder, is he the odd one here, or are they the lazy ones? Torres is puzzled by this too, so he gets up and tells Encrid to calm down with his attempts at getting stronger. He's pretty strong enough already. They only drew because he did not expect that from him. But what about right now? Encrid knows that this is an invitation, so they begin to fight again and again, Torres continuing to win back-to-back matches. Everyone congratulates Torres and belittles Encrid, but he does not mind and wants to go again. Torres asks how the hell he isn't tired yet. They have been going at it 11 times already. That's when one of them gets up and suggests they swap, prompting others to join the queue as well. Palide watches this show of strength with disgust. These barbarians really do not know class. The border guard who is now in the ring immediately puts Encrid to the ground, which the silent man watches carefully. Encrid gets up and asks if he can do what he just did again, the silent man recognizing that his pride is not hurt by these defeats. Rather, he is akin to a child who has found a new toy to play with. On top of all that, his open hostility in that encounter, while he knew full well he was stronger, makes him a very unique individual. Even if he is unique, he seems to be falling for the same trick 3 to 4 times. He really has no talent for fighting. However, after experiencing something repeatedly, he gets the hang of it pretty quickly and retaliates in kind. The border guards are all excited to see him finally win, and the ferry commander is saddened to see that he's going around charming everyone, a truly bad man. Leona asks if they are really dating, which the ferry commander denies. They are actually married. And even though they did not hold a ceremony, there's probably a child coming soon. Encrid really can't stand this anymore. He would rather she stay inside of the inn. Suddenly, the silent man speaks and asks if he could join in too. Encrid gives him a look, and Torres wonders what he's thinking. The silent man has learned his name. He has no talent that is worth sharpening, yet he feels the desire to teach him. He cannot hold himself back anymore. The man Encrid was fighting with says that he's in a different boat than them, so he should just sit and watch. But Encrid denies that. He has been waiting for this opportunity. This makes the silent man smile with anticipation. All the while, everyone watches them get prepared. Jackson watches from above and can see that the silent man, even though brandishing just a wooden stick, is extremely dangerous. He gets prepared to jump in, as this might evolve into more than just a friendly spar. Encrid feels a certain tension in his body, just as if he were at war once again. As the silent man strikes, Encrid can see his attack path clearly. Even though he's using a feint, he knows that he's aiming for his neck, so he has to block before it's too late. Unfortunately for him, if this was a real battle, Encrid would have been dead, as the silent man moved far too fast for him or anyone to anticipate. He tells Encrid that he reads attacks quite well, but he has to work on his speed. Encrid expected his swift sword to be fast. It's in the name after all, but it's much faster than ever imagined. He thought he got pretty strong, but this man has proved to him that he has not. They are so far, they are at polar opposite levels. Instead of despairing, however, he smiles and asks for a rematch. The silent man likes his attitude, and so they fight the night away. Most people drift to sleep, only the ones that are interested staying up to watch. The silent man thinks that any man who has held a sword knows the despair of losing when they meet someone they cannot beat. He has shown this guy the gigantic gap between them, but he still refuses to give up. Jackson sees that Encrid's reactions are too slow to be dodging everything. If he continues like this, he will never overcome this wall, meaning that he must teach him more about his speed. The silent man tells him that they should go to bed too, as they don't want to be tired. But Encrid simply calls him amazing. His swift sword, he will learn it someday. The silent man smiles and thinks that he's the amazing one. If he only had the slightest bit more talent, he would have been legendary. As the next day continues, someone screams for Torres, as they have captured the mercenaries who ran away. Encrid nods at Crace to signal that he's done a good job, but he feels it was easy. These rats never hide that well. Leona recognizes him as one of Encrid's squad members, so he thanks him. Torres immediately begins interrogating the mercenaries, asking who hired them, Palide's chest tightening as the possibility of being discovered rises. The mercenary explains that a mercenary association from Aspen hired them. They wanted to expand through the contested zones. Any more than that, he doesn't know. They only got a letter and the money, with the promise of more pay after completion. Leona says that what comes next must be up to them, right? Torres is torn. She seems moderately satisfied with this. Was she not hoping for her idiot brother to be behind this? Leona was enough to offer up the stiletto, but alas, she can't personally interrogate them. Torres knows what she's beating at. It's their job to break these criminals. So he tells them that they can go. He will report what he finds out. As they escort Leona's carriage, Jackson looks with glee at the knife, with Encrid telling him to not let it be seen in public. He has never seen this guy so happy. He's like a kid in a candy store. Crace tells him to not fall in love with Leona, as she's quite the scary woman. But Encrid never had this intention. Crace also thinks that it's weird. No matter how one thinks it, Polite is behind this. But he had a little encounter yesterday after they found those guys. A random guy came up to them and recognized him not only by his squad and name, but also by his title of the Gilfin Guild boss. He said that he worked for Leona. They already had tabs on where those mercenaries were and knew everything about the Gilfin Guild. They wanted to pay the military to let them go, and told them to say what they said at the inn. Encrid does not get why. Will Leona be at a disadvantage if Polide was known to be the one behind this? She says that it's quite a relief her brother is not behind this. It would have left a really bad record on the previous leader's achievements. Encrid wonders if it was out of sheer loyalty for her father, but she guesses that he's not interested in things like this, so she will let it go. Encrid asks if this is going to be fine. They won't be able to protect her outside the border, so if Polide attacks, she's on her own. Leona tells him not to worry. It's already taken care of. Right as they arrive at the town gate, a group of soldiers wait for them, with the leader standing at the front. He identifies himself as the Rocafried Merchant Association Guard Commander Mattis, and he's here to escort the new leader of the association, Leona, who has been voted unanimously in favor by the stakeholders. They all fall to their knees in front of her, with Encrid thinking about what she did. She was held here on purpose, and managed to get a vote going with the shareholders in the meantime. She used loyalty, decisiveness, and information all to win. She really is a scary woman. Leona would like to ask him to join her again, but that would be undignified. He has the gift of making people root for him. He hopes they can meet and help each other in the future. Encrid accepts her handshake and agrees. Polide jumps out of his carriage and asks the guards what they are doing. How dare they betray his father when he raised them from the dirt? Mattis tells him to stop dishonoring his name. He doesn't even deserve to be called his skin, because of how much of a dumbass he is. The people in his carriage think this was a failure, but the silent man says they got something out of it. They now know that the leader of the Rocafried Empire is a cunning woman, and about the existence of a soldier who might shake up the world soon enough. When they were training, the silent man told him to lower his blade, as he admired his strength and the effort he puts into it, but he does not have any talent. At this point, it's just plain depressing. Encrid hasn't heard that in a while, but he never listened in his past, and managed to get all of the way here. The silent man just walked off without saying a word, and that is the last day they met. At the encampment, Encrid wakes up Rem, who tells him to not even say his name, as he's going to hang out with that cat bastard anyway. Encrid explains that he wants to train, and he needs him for that, making Rem's face light up instantly. What Encrid really needs for the swift sword is first, the decision-making for finding the most efficient line. After that, the swift movement to back it up, that flows through his body efficiently. He manages to scratch Rem, who is quite confused. With this, Encrid has become faster than him, due to all that he has done again and again. Rem recognizes that he's surprised. He finally figured out how to swing faster, so he will speed up too. Encrid doesn't get it, but Rem immediately bashes him at double his speed, and then goes for his neck, forcing Encrid to back down. He is surprised. His axe was fast, but now it's like a cannonball. Encrid knows he has improved, but there's still a long way to go. Later that day, as he continues to train alone, he suddenly feels someone come at him, so he blocks preemptively. Jackson is glad that his eyes and ears are working well. He won't have to train those anymore, but Encrid doesn't get it. Did he do that just to confirm it? Jackson says that he did, for now, but suddenly, Encrid feels his killing intent and starts to choke. Jackson tells him that this is what comes out of a person's intent to kill another. If he cannot predict an attack from his sight or hearing, he must detect that instead. This skill allows him to detect something that supersedes the 5 senses. It's basically a 6th sense. He will teach him that, in return for the stiletto, of course. Encrid is glad that there's always more to learn. It means that there's an endless amount of fun waiting for him. Jackson explains that the 6th sense borders on his instincts. He cannot rely on just his perception, as that relies on his other 5 senses. His sense of direction, his ability to move, and the way a predator kills its prey, they are all part of instinct. If he repeatedly fights with all his senses on alert, he will eventually be able to detect ill intent too. Even if he tries hard, this won't come easily to him, but as his training continues, his 6th sense will soon open. That night, as he sharpens his blade, Rem says that he looks different, with Encrid thinking that he's talking about his physical appearance. but that's not it. Auden says that he smiles more than before, but that's not it either. Crace knows he's more insane than usual, which everyone agrees with. Encrid says that it's only natural. He's the only normal guy among lunatics. So he seems insane, that's all. As they go to sleep, Rem sees Esther getting into bed with Encrid. She sees that he put his body through hell once again. He's training enough to die every single day. He would have collapsed long ago if it were not for her magic. She cannot have him die, as that will not break her curse, so she decides to enhance his clothing too. Just like his ability to repeat the same day, Encrid trains again and again, never getting tired of it. He knows that this will improve him, and that is enough of a reward for him. However, it seems that he's having difficulty with his sixth sense training, not quite getting it, and making the others disappointed. Rem tells him to forget what he said about him being different. He has not changed in the slightest. Auden is weirded out, as he improved a lot in a day, and Ragna thought of him as a genius, but it seems like that was just a fluke. They all know that there's no better way to learn than the real thing, but Aspen will be quiet for a bit, so he should go and hunt a commissioned beast or something. With that, Encrid goes to the quest board. He thinks that those guys must really want him to prove himself since he's not improving. Suddenly, someone hands him a paper, telling him to take this quest for him if he's not seeing anything fun here. Encrid reads the quest, but it's quite strange, as it's to investigate a shoemaker's basement. Encrid asks the man if a recon party isn't better for this sort of thing, but the man explains that it won't be enough, as according to the shoemaker, there's probably undead in the basement. Encrid doesn't believe something like that can be in the city. That guy must have heard a huge rat or something, and since he needs more experience fighting, perhaps this is too unworthy. The man begs him. He can probably tell, but nobody wants this job. Doesn't help that the shoemaker is short-tempered, but he's a good lad. His wife recently went missing, which probably accounts for his angst, but he can just go and check it out, then leave if he doesn't like it. Encrid goes to refuse the request, but somehow he winds up accepting it. Once he gets there, the daughter immediately invites him inside, as the shoemaker is currently digging into the ground. He is glad to see Encrid, as he found something under the floorboards after just a bit of digging. Encrid is surprised to see a tunnel in the middle of the city. Now he knows this is not just a mere rat. He decides to climb down with a torch, seeing that the cave looks man-made, and since it's large, there's bound to be something down here. He and the shoemaker eventually stop, as they have walked up to a six-way crossroad, confirming that this is man-made. Encrid decides to take a path while the shoemaker says that there must be an undead, but Encrid tells him to not just walk around randomly. He will head in first and see what's up. Unfortunately, as soon as he steps in the path, he can feel immense heat as a mighty blast arrives within a second and pulverizes the both of them, leaving only their shadows on the dirt path. Encrid wakes up once again. He knows that what he has just experienced was a magic trap. It is common for people to give someone this advice about facing magicians, and that is to simply run. The ones that die in combat with a mage are lucky. If they survive, it's a much worse fate awaiting them, and this advice also applies to traps created by them. He goes back to the quest board and wonders what he can even do against that. What skill can he master to overcome this? The man offers him the job again. Encrid thinking that this needs a magic specialist or higher-up support. It's not like the other walls he has faced up until now, which he could face head-on. He thinks that the ferry commander will listen to him, and before that man goes in alone, he has to be quick. He suddenly remembers just that and rushes to the house, kicking the door down and jumping straight into the hole. He runs towards the crossroad, only to see the shoemaker go into one of the walkways. He tries to stop him, but the man has already stepped inside, so the magic trap blasts them once again. Encrid knows that he must find a quicker way. He needs to go see the man first and tell him to stay out of there. The boatman speaks. He only felt it for a moment, but he did feel it. The mane of his flesh turning inside out, and his body turning into ash. Does he still intend to step towards that flame, which might pulverize him again? Encrid agrees that it was excruciating. It felt like 1,000 needles piercing him in an instant. However, it hurts even more to watch an innocent man die for nothing. That is not the way of the night. When he wakes up, he immediately dresses and jumps out of the door, Rem wondering where he's rushing off to. Encrid says that it's simple. He's going to save an annoying shoemaker. Rem wonders if he's off to fight leather boot monsters or something, and Encrid gets to work. He cannot make the man stop digging and just ignore it, and he also can't leave this thing under his house. After he digs it up, Encrid orders the man to stay put and not follow him, which the shoemaker doesn't like, but Encrid insists. After he goes inside, Encrid thinks about finding a magic specialist, but that will take a long time, and who would even listen to him? This is a mysterious trap that he has no info on, so someone is bound to die exploring it. He must find as much information as he possibly can, even if it costs him his life. He already knows one of it is rigged, so he decides to test it with his body, but repeating today feels like cheating, so he winds up looking for a better way. He looks for a hint, something that can tell him where the traps even are. As he does that, he wonders how many times he has died already, and what kind of pain he felt each time. When he thought that he already lost, when was that? When he felt a blade pierce his throat when his opponent knocked his blade away, or perhaps by simply feeling murderous intent. He remembers what Jackson told him, that it's something that wants nothing more than his demise. As he walks, he feels a sharp axe come from behind, and just as he steps, he feels it. The axe easily cuts him in half, but he's smiling as he has felt it, the trap's murderous intent. Encrid goes back to the shoemaker's house, his mind filled with detecting the murderous intent of the trap. He decides not to just walk in. Instead, he walks back and forth until he gets a good feel for it. He goes to a path he has not walked on yet and feels nothing. Perhaps this is the right way. He decides to walk to the others. One of them will launch blades at him, and the other is where he got split into two. He finally remembers what happened then, as he did not just detect something unimportant. The shoemaker asks why he's pacing. Does he want to take a dump or something? Encrid told him to stay up, but it doesn't matter anymore. He goes back to the path he has not been on, and decides to keep going until he detects it. Dawn turns to night, and Encrid eventually gets out of the hole, with the shoemaker surprised that he went on for so long without a meal. Encrid tells him that he will come back tomorrow and to not mess with anything, as that place is filled with traps. The shoemaker asks him for help once again. He cannot even sleep because he's afraid that he will lose his only daughter. Encrid asks if he has any leads on his missing wife, but the shoemaker reveals that there's a lot of missing people recently, but none of them have been addressed. So if he sees a brunette woman with freckles, wearing a wedding band like this, he should let him know. Encrid agrees and goes back to his bunk, where he tries to train his killing intent sense, but he misses entirely. Rem chalking it up to him spending too much time with Mr. Bootman. With that, they both go to bed. Encrid recognizing this as the first time he ended a repeating today without dying. What will even happen? Will he just continue the days? He decides to find out by just sleeping, but fate does not let go of him and drags him back to today. Encrid explores the caves again, this time deciding not to sleep at all. He sees the dawn of tomorrow almost go over the mountain range after a long time, but as soon as he closes his eyes, he wakes up in today, with Rem saying the same thing. Now he knows that he must pass this wall to pass today, but that's fine with him, as he had no intention of facing tomorrow without overcoming this. 20 days pass, Encrid forcing his body to listen, as this is different than normal fear. It's something that he must feel, the impending death that is hurling itself towards him. 40 days pass, and he lets go of the torch. He does not need it anymore. 50 days pass, 60 days pass, 70 days, and the horrifying outcomes he faces no longer scare him. Next round, he is ready, as he has trained with Jackson, who was surprised that he figured all this out in just a few days. The 72nd day arrives. He gears up appropriately, Rem wondering if he's going to war on the boots. Encrid knows the 6 paths like the back of his hand, and the only one leads to an exit without traps. That was what he thought anyway, as whoever made this tunnel is a real creep. There are traps in all of the paths, meaning that a safe path does not exist, but there is still a path. The only way to get out of this, though, is just not to stop in the traps. On the first path, there's a laser that instantly kills him if he makes a wrong step, and is probably the easiest to go through. He takes a deep breath and tries to take a step, but the sharp pain of the blast makes him quiver. He decides to move his step a little to the left, and when he finally takes it, nothing happens. He has taken the first step, allowing him to take another, and then another. He is fully focused, and his 6th sense has opened. He sees, no. He feels the steps that he must take, and eventually he succeeds. Once again, he has overcome a wall, the zombies that are coming for him no longer phasing his mind. Actually, he's quite glad to see them. This is an amazing present. As the zombies charge in, Encrid, knowing that these things have a strong poison on their fingertips, even a scratch would lead to a deadly injury. So normally zombies are taken in groups, but for someone like him, who can move and weave with no concern in his heart, this is too easy. He continues slaughtering the zombies with none of them even getting close to hitting him, and after he's done, he thinks that he fought pretty well. So well, in fact, he wishes the others could see it. Suddenly, a bunch of ghoulish beasts appear, something that Encrid does not recognize, as it's a mix of more than one animal. He wonders what is in front of him as a result, and continues his journey. Somewhere close, Esther seems to be on the move, as Encrid seems weird today. Why would he go to a shoemaker while being so heavily armed? Will the boots attack him or something? If he ends up dying, that would be bad for her. He's far too reckless. As she gets to the shoemaker's house, she detects some bad energy, and the unmistakable smell of spells. Encrid finishes off the last beast, but can sense breathing deeper into the cave. It's faint, like it's about to be the last at any point. He wonders if there's another demon nearby or something, but once he gets to the end, he sees a gruesome sight. This cave is filled with body parts of humans and beasts alike, strung on hooks to rot. The person he was hearing demands peace. She wants the sweet embrace of death to take her from this hell. Encrid recognizes that ring. It's the same as the shoemaker's, meaning that this woman is his wife. Suddenly a strange man appears. He has heard some noise. It looks like he has some fresh meat to play with. Perhaps he shall make a playmate for Bamilio, as he's been quite lonely. Encrid asks if these corpses are his doing, which the man does not deny, but those are all trash and failures. This is his best work, Bamilio, a work of art, and soon he will make something beautiful out of him as well. Encrid knows the best way to counter a mage. He has to run, as that might grant him death. If he survives, he will meet a fate worse than death, but he is not scared. Even if he has to try 1,000 times, he will end his miserable life. He throws a flying knife towards him, which bounces off his magic shield, but allows Encrid to move in with a silent strike. The magician, however, easily pushes him away, and in the corner, Esther watches. She knew there was a magician afoot. She has not managed to gain too much power, but if she gathers all that she has now, a small fry like that bastard is nothing. The mage shoots a deadly gust of wind towards him with one simple movement, making a hole in his cloak as he dodges. Even if Encrid can't see or hear it, he can feel his murderous intent. The mage is surprised he dodged, but Encrid goes further than that, and moves in while recognizing all of his movements. A long time ago, he asked his squad mates about what he should do if he had to face a mage in combat. Rem told him to shoot an arrow, but that would honestly be pretty useless considering their speed. Jackson advises that he kill him silently while he is not attentive. Auden just told him to get up closer and personal, but even that fails because of the shield. Ragna told him not to be so scared. Everything that has ever breathed can be killed. Encrid descends upon the mage with full force. This invisible shield makes his whistle daggers next to useless, so he will just smash it open like an egg. The mage wants him to come. He has prepared a strike for when he is most vulnerable, which is now. Esther watches closely as the attack gets closer, but soon relaxes, as she knows Encrid won. The shield suddenly comes apart, leaving the mage defenseless, so Encrid swings his blade with so much force that he almost cuts him in half. For this wall, he did not have to die even once. The mage falls down, and so does Encrid's blade. It took a beating with this, but it served him well. The impact was so strong that he could feel it in his bones, but he wasn't hurt. Perhaps this armor really is that great, and can do much more than block simple cuts. He looks at the shoemaker's wife, and no longer senses her breathing. It has stopped. He has trained his sixth sense so much he could take down a magician, but this is no victory. What he was set out to do, he failed in. As he shamefully walks away, Esther comes in, calling the magician a fool, who lost only because he did not use his creation. This is a flesh golem, created to supplement the physical abilities of a magician, one that will wake up with only a few knocks. She will make good use of it, since he did not. Encrid swiftly reports everything to the ferry commander, who is shocked, and knows that if news about a civilian being experimented on right in the middle of the city spreads, they will not be able to contain the chaos. Encrid thinks that keeping things hidden is best too, but the ferry commander warns him that his contribution would not be recognized as a result. Encrid doesn't care for that. The lives of the citizens are far more important. They soon got to work repairing the tunnels, the people given some bogus story about the Thieves' Guild, one that the shoemaker himself also believes. He comes to Encrid with a gift for all that he has done. His shoes seemed worn out, so he made him some new ones. He's glad he got this off his chest. He hopes that his wife will make her way back safely to him one day. He already knows he has done much work, but if he could at least try one more time to find her, he would be eternally grateful. Encrid keeps silent for a moment, and then says he will do his best. After this interaction, he goes somewhere quiet to collect his thoughts. Was it really right for him to give that man hope? Would it have been better to just tell him the truth? That would have made him despair? If he ever becomes a knight, would he be able to prevent these things? Encrid cannot know the answer to these questions, so he leaves them in the dirt with his old sword. After all of this, Encrid and his team took on a monster hunting quest, thinking that it would be at least exciting, but really, the monsters are way too slow to be a threat, making them pretty bored. Encrid can't deny that this is for normal people. Should he have gone on a solo mission perhaps? Rem notices that he's bored too, but he would like to fix that. He drops his shield and charges in with his blades, surprising the commander of the mission. He tries to tell Encrid to keep that guy on a leash, but Encrid charges in too, despite the commander's screams. As he takes down a beast, Rem tells the commander not to get it wrong. They were the ones who rubbed off his craziness. Encrid can't believe he's the one saying that, but it doesn't matter anyway. Together, they unleash hell on the beasts, leaving the common soldiers to only stare at them. After they are done, Encrid still does not seem satiated. so the commander tells him to go to the armored units if he desires more action, as they are fighting much stronger monsters. Sure enough, besides having to deal with disgusting-looking beasts, deadly harpies are also a concern, who pick up the soldiers with ease, and then throw them from up high, dealing some pretty heavy blows. Encrid and Rem charge in, with Encrid having a history with harpies. In his brief job as a mercenary, his squad was butchered by harpies. He remembers it vividly, because he had really good people around him. He draws his blade sharply, as no more people will die today because of these chickens. One of the harpies sees them charging in, and lets out a high-pitched scream, making the other soldiers flinch with pain. But Encrid is not affected by this disorienting sound. He has faced death countless times after all. He successfully hits the harpy's wing, and cuts it off completely with one last charge. Rem holds another harpy and tells him that he's doing great. Why don't they bet on who can get the most kills? Another harpy approaches from behind, and Encrid says that he's not here to play. He swiftly gets out of the way and cuts down the harpy, making the soldiers think that he's actually pretty cool. Rem doesn't let up either, and together, the harpies are soon dealt with. Torres and his group are there too. They were supposed to help the heavy company, but at this point, they aren't needed. The harpies see Encrid as a threat now, so they swiftly disarm him and rush to incapacitate him. But Encrid takes care of one with a whistling dagger. He's not out of the fight just yet. The other knows that its time is limited. It rushes in, and as Encrid does the same to get his blade, with only a few seconds to spare, he swiftly grabs the handle and cuts up, killing the harpy. The others refuse to fight any longer and leave, much to the soldiers' surprise, to think that they would make actual monsters run away like this. Encrid looks upon what he did. These harpies are probably not the same ones that killed his mercenary group, but maybe one or two were. After his squad was annihilated, someone came and called him weak. All of these bastards died to save him. Now though, he's the one saving others. Torres guesses that they should go back now that they are finished, but one of the squad members suggests they go hunt a beast or something, to not go empty-handed. The armored company leader tells them that they got support for the harpies, so they can go now. But Encrid feels that it's far too soon to return. They should kill at least a couple more beasts. Torres and his company think of him as a lunatic. After helping the armored company, he still trains. Some soldiers are surprised that he's trying so hard, one of them asking the other when he will try so hard, because he's pretty lazy. The next day, Encrid takes another request, promising to finish it by the evening, and getting another, making the boardmaster wonder if he has clones or something. Even after taking care of so many requests, he still trains, something which the soldiers keep in mind, and one of them feels inspired to try too. A day passes, and someone joins him. Another day passes, and the training ground is filled with soldiers. The ferry commander notices how different these guys seem nowadays, and her assistant says that they are all following Encrid. It's basically become a trend. She cannot ignore him anymore with this, so she drags him somewhere empty, as she got some order from above for him. Starting today, his squad, Squad 444, will be promoted to an independent platoon, operating under the 4th Company. This makes him an independent platoon leader. Encrid doesn't understand. They only have 5 men in the squad. They cannot be a platoon, but the ferry commander explains she will assign more men according to his requests. Encrid thinks that being platoon leader sounds nice, but it will be a pain with all the lunatics in his squad. The ferry commander also adds that platoon leaders are exempt from menial tasks, meaning that he will have more time for training. Encrid immediately bows down and thanks her for the opportunity, but she's not done with him yet. She wants to have a duel, and her only weapons will be her hands. Encrid finds this as an opportunity. After his crushing defeat against her, he trained constantly with Auden. It's time for him to see just how far he has progressed in hand-to-hand combat. Encrid remembers Auden's teachings. Hand-to-hand combat requires him to get close, so something quick is much better than something sophisticated. The ferry commander charges in, but Encrid uses his size to block and push her back. He pushes her so much, in fact, he pins her to the ground, meaning that he has basically won. The ferry commander wonders if that is so. Human proposals really are aggressive. Encrid can't believe she's doing this stuff once again, but this leaves him distracted enough for the ferry commander to turn the tables and get on top of him. He analyzed his opponent's weakness and broke them down with his advantage. He really did well for her fiancé. Encrid denies ever getting engaged and tells her to get off of him now. She apologizes as they dust off. She just couldn't help it. Encrid wonders what she's talking about but doesn't care enough to ask. As the cold dies down, the battlefield readies to wake up, and an all-out war will soon begin. The Aspens have begun to mobilize, desperate to rectify the dishonor they incurred from that defeat. With this advent, the army of Norelia began preparations too. A new battalion commander shows up, Marcus, who Kreis recognizes as the warmonger. He being here means serious business. He is one of the key officers in the Cyprus division, and unlike his predecessor, He's a great tactician, while being experienced with real battle. He knows that the Aspens are not weak enemies, and their armies are filled with weaklings that only puff off their numbers, besides the heavy armored corps and the border guards. Among these people, there's only one that caught his eye, the platoon commander, the one everyone calls the Spellbreaker. He's been pretty heroic since the last battle. He cannot know if it was skill or blind luck, but he will soon give him the chance to prove himself and how useful he is. Because of this, he and his squad get sent to scout along the Penhanil River, something which Rem finds extremely boring. Encrid doesn't care because he's training, they've got a lot of free time after all. Kreis recognizes this area, and their newest team member confirms it's near the Crossguard, Aspen's fortress city. This is Henry, and he finishes by saying that it was created for military purposes, similar to how they got border guards. Kreis knows that they are probably going to gather a bunch of intel on them, but Rem doesn't want to go, and tells Encrid as such. He is kind of forced in this situation. He cannot refuse an order from the commander after all. Rem guesses that he's going too, if that's the case. But suddenly, someone else comes, announcing that the battalion commander has ordered them to obey his commands, as the new squad leader. Andrew is confident that they will follow his orders, but suddenly Rem approaches, showing off his barbarity, and asking why a little insect is in their corner. Andrew says that he's the new squad leader while shaking, making Auden mock him for it. But Ragna can't believe that such a brat is their squad leader. Andrew won't let up. If they have a problem, they should fight it out. He volunteered so that he could fight by Encrid's side. He's never going to leave. Rem likes how feisty he is. Auden simply wants to loosen up his joints a bit, and Jackson guesses that a finger is enough. Encrid tells them to go easy on him, but his bodyguard begs him to stop this. He asks why. It seems like they are all getting along pretty well, at least in his book. If Rem offers a duel to someone the first time they meet, it means that he likes that person, but the bodyguard thinks that he would likely murder that person too. Andrew continues to try and fight while his legs are quivering. All the while the bodyguard demands he stop provoking them so much. Henri asks Encrid if he knows much about the geography of the river they are going to. It's quite a dangerous area, so he will tell him what he knows once they set out. That night, Encrid sets out, brandishing his new armor. He meets up with Torres, who guesses that he's going out on duty. He has seen him around often. He also heard about his promotion, so congratulations are in order. They are the same rank now. Encrid can't compare himself to the king's finest, but Torres feels that nobody cares about such a thing. He asks how old he is, and Encrid says 30, confusing Torres. He is older than him and has that handsome face. Encrid heard that he should relax, so he will. What's the mission about anyway? Torres explains that they will cross the Penhanil first. He was going to explain it in more detail once the others arrived, but even the bosun is not here. Can't be helped. They should just relax for a little longer. Encrid agrees and starts swinging his sword. Apparently this is what passes for rest to him. Torres can't believe how persistent he is. He trains hard and people acknowledge him. He's also pretty handsome for his age. This bastard. Doesn't he have too much? Encrid notices killing intent coming from him, but it's actually just seething jealousy. Torres relaxes, remembering that their record at the inn was 14-6. He's at least better at fighting. Encrid smiles, as that was in the past, but Torres reminds him that he's not the only one who got stronger. Encrid is glad to hear that, and readies his blade for another fierce number of battles. Torres is the first one to strike, but Encrid retaliates, forcing them into exchanging a flurry of slashes. Torres already knew by watching him fight the harpies, but this bastard has gotten unimaginably strong. He can't go down like this, so he puts both of their blades to the ground and goes for a punch, something Encrid doesn't get, but soon sees the reason behind and barely gets out of the way. The hidden knife slashes Encrid's cheek, but he is more impressed by it rather than scared. This is Torres's hidden technique, hidden knife, and he doesn't have to cut his ring finger for it either. Encrid finds it ridiculous, making Torres think that he's going to call him a coward, but Encrid actually finds it pretty cool and wants to learn how to use it. Torres can't believe him, but agrees to teach him a few tricks. The boatswain actually arrives, but they don't even notice him as they train, making the old man wonder if they are even crossing the river at this point. Eventually they do so, but even on the boat, Encrid continues to learn. They arrive at their destination as day appears, Encrid knowing that they are supposed to meet with a recon team, but he does not know where the rendezvous point is. Torres suggests they wash up for a bit. They are already drenched in sweat, as is from their training. Encrid can't deny that after smelling himself, so they both get into the water. Torres turns around just as Encrid is taking off his pants and sees his real fighting sword. He's now even more jealous. His fighting spirit is completely gone. Encrid doesn't get it and asks him to charge if he's ready, but Torres wasn't telling him to spar. Suddenly a woman speaks. She has been looking for them all this time, and yet here they are, taking a bath without a worry. Encrid is surprised by her presence, as he did not detect her or the others. She explains that they must get near the crossguard before the day closes, so they should hurry up and get out. Torres asks how he's supposed to do that with her watching, but she doesn't care what she sees, so they should just come out. Encrid does so first, allowing her to see his fighting sword, something worth looking at. Torres notes that her eyes are obvious, but she promises she was looking at his abs. She introduces herself to Encrid as Finn. She looks forward to working with him. Encrid takes her hand, while Torres wonders if his abs aren't worthy enough. As they walk, Finn explains that before they talk about the mission, she should brief them on the actual situation. Their spy inside the crossguard, codenamed Cat, obtained some critical intel, which they were supposed to receive 4 days ago, but the Cat never showed up to their meeting point, and they haven't been able to contact them since. Encrid asks if they are in danger, which is what Finn thinks, so they will infiltrate Crossguard to rescue them. The very front of that place is the land of monsters and beasts. The enemy uses it as a natural barrier, so they do not patrol in that area much at all. They have infiltration routes too. First, they will use the dog hole, a path usually used by smugglers, which the guards know about, but they choose to ignore it. After that, they will climb over the city wall as soon as night falls, which is physically demanding, but it's also safest. The last option would be to disguise themselves as a merchant group and go in, but this means they will go through the main gate, which is risky, although it's much more convenient than climbing. Her platoon members are to stay at the meeting point in case Cat actually shows up, so only the 3 of them will go into Crossguard. The difficulty is about the same no matter what they choose, so he can choose. Encrid thinks she made it sound easy, but they all know it won't be so simple. Torres thinks she should choose since she knows the situation best, so Finn chooses the dog hole. They will be departing in the morning. After night falls, Encrid continues to train, but the most he can do is throw a rock a few inches from him. Torres wonders how he even learned swordsmanship with those skills, but he will get it eventually. He just needs patience. Finn arrives at their sleeping spot. She wonders why they skipped dinner, but what is he doing playing with his hands? Encrid says it's training, so Finn tells him to fuel up for it. One of her members actually dreams of becoming a chef, and the jerky he made is amazing. Both Encrid and Torres agree that it's incredible, and Finn suggests they ask him for more. His parents run a shop at the border guard too. They should visit it to eat. She also tells them to not go and sleep over on that spot, especially under that yellow rock. Encrid knows that there's a viper there already. He learned this from one of his squad members who was a hunter. Finn is surprised about how well prepared he is. She likes that in a man. Does he want to train with her, but in the way adults do? Encrid becomes confused, but Torres clears it up for him. She's trying to hit on him. Finn thinks that even though she's rough, she's actually pretty nice in the places that count. Torres asks if they mind not doing this in front of his jerky, but Encrid actually refuses. Finn wonders why at first, but then remembers he's actually dating the ferry commander. What a shame. Encrid doesn't understand. When did that joke even become a confirmed fact? Finn leaves while telling him they should speak casually from now on, and orders them to rest, as tomorrow is a long day. As Encrid rests under the red moon, his mind becomes blurred, and the ferryman appears. This makes Encrid get up. He has not seen that bastard for a long time, meaning that he must have something to tell him. He also remembers the ferry commander apologizing for something, but this actually makes him smile. He knows that this mission is another massive wall that he must clear. Torres doesn't get why they are infiltrating at day, so Finn explains that the guards are not clueless, even if they are turning a blind eye. Encrid agrees that they are catching them off guard because they would not expect anything now. Torres feels like he only exists to take the blame, but anyway, Finn notes that they should go. As they move, Encrid analyzes Finn, as she's a ranger, so it's imperative that she move quietly, with as little equipment as possible, because they scout ahead of anyone else. He notices her footsteps that barely make any sound, and wonders if he can do the same. Suddenly, a bunch of guards appear in front of them, clearly coming here for them. Finn tries to signal the retreat, but there are guards behind them too, and the commander tells his men to kill them. They all get prepared for battle, and the crossbows fire, with Finn being the only hurt. They all get to taking out as many guards as possible, but Encrid knows that Torres and Finn are not used to fighting against such a large force. They will not be able to fight at their full capacity. Sure enough, Finn is too focused on a target on the ground, and Torres is defending too much, causing both of them to die at once. Encrid understands. This is the wall he must pass, but he will not just give up. He throws a bunch of whistling knives and rushes in with his blade, but under the orders of the commander, he is swiftly pinned down, and even if he tries to dodge, his death is more than assured. After the reset, Encrid thinks on the situation, as a force of that size wouldn't just appear there. They were waiting for them, so they have to keep that in mind. Finn asks why he's not ready, as it's time for the smuggler's hole. But Encrid explains that he doesn't feel good about that place. How about they enter by scaling the walls? Torres tells Finn that Encrid once destroyed an enemy spell just by following his senses, so listening to him won't hurt. Finn understands, but they will need to wait until night, so time will be wasted. Encrid suggests they go for a round, with Finn not knowing that he liked it during the day. Encrid was talking about a regular duel, which Finn is disappointed by, but she doesn't work with swords. Encrid tells her that they should fight without weapons, which she can do. Encrid thinks that the enemy might be knowing of their arrival either way, so they will end up fighting in every situation. It will be good to know how capable the team is, and to get some training in while he's at it. Encrid asks if she wants to attack first, but she beckons him forward, making him charge in with a punch that leaves him open for a kick that he blocks with his other hand. Finn seems to be backing down, but charges in with a kick instead. Encrid knows this is dangerous, so he thinks that he will use the same tactic as the fairy commander and charge her because of his superior size. But as soon as he pins her to the ground, she catches his hand and puts him in a leg lock. Torres sees that she clearly won and stops the match, with Encrid thinking that even if small Finn is packed with muscles, there's a reason why she prefers barehanded combat after all. All in all, she's the perfect training partner, so he asks if she wants to go another round. Finn says nothing but makes a face, making Encrid repeat that he meant to spar, but Torres just asks them to stop doing this in front of him and everyone else. As the day sets, Finn notes that they will soon go, but wonders if Encrid will go out like that. He asks if there's something wrong with his attire, so she explains that he's got too many weapons. He's going to pass out from exhaustion before he climbs the wall. Torres asks how he's doing, and Finn just looks at him and says that he's fine or whatever. He goes to cry in a corner because of his hurt feelings, and Encrid tells her that he can probably climb the walls fine with this much gear. Finn likes how innocent his thinking is. They aren't just climbing the walls, but those mountains too. Encrid knows that climbing will be a challenge, but none of his walls have been easy to climb after all. When he returned from the magician's tunnel, he picked up some small trophies to buy a new sword, since his old one broke. Krace was shocked when he saw the magic tools he brought. Just one of these would get him enough krona to buy him a full set of equipment. Encrid told him to get him the best sword for that amount, making Krace wonder if he thinks about anything else besides his sword. Encrid is doing this because to a person that lives by the sword, their blade is the only lifeline they have. Heading out without a sword is not an option. Finn thinks that he really should have left that longsword behind, even if we're to put away all the other weapons. Only carrying that thing will drain him. Encrid agrees, as it's pretty damn heavy however. His muscles, which have been pushed to their limits to become stronger, will not allow him to react to something like this when he has passed harder challenges. This much is nothing. He finally makes it up, with Finn noting that he's just making things difficult for no reason. But Torres wonders if he just brought it to get some training in. Suddenly, a pack of lycanthropes rushes below them, with Torres saying that it's rare to see them move in such big packs. Finn tells them that they have to be on guard from now on, as the wall is right in front of them. Even if they want to climb it, they can't take any cover because there's still light out. Finn tells them not to worry too much. It's actually so bright when the two moons are up like this that the guards do not pay much attention, so at her signal they charge in silently. But Encrid is the only one who notices the guard that was presumably ignoring them stare right down their souls. They do make it to the wall, and Finn notes that it's like she told them, pretty easy. Encrid is sure that the guard saw them, but maybe his visions are playing tricks on him. They get ready to climb, while Finn explains that past this wall is the slums. If they hide there, there is no way those bastards can find them. She also suggests that Encrid ditch his sword, as this climb will be much harder, but he says that this will not be a real workout without some weights. Finn thinks that he really is insane, and as they climb, Encrid understands why this would be the safest route. If they do get past the walls, infiltrating Crossguard will be easy, but only if this wasn't a wall. Just like how there were guards ambushing them in the tunnels, there's a pretty good chance that they will be waiting here too. He wonders, how do they plan to stop them now? As soon as they step on the wall, a woman tells them that they worked hard to get here, but now they can rest. She throws a bunch of vines at them, and Finn tells them to duck, as this is a magician. She begins throwing her knives while telling the other two to run to the base of the wall, but the mage simply destroys anything that comes next to her. Encrid certainly did not expect such an impressive trap, but he charges in nonetheless, as he has dealt with a magician before. Using his sixth sense, he can close the distance. As he does that, he remembers what Jackson told him, to trust his senses, but not swear by them. A strong opponent will fool any sense, especially magicians. Sure enough, he is pushed away by the vines, and Finn screams at him for being an idiot. causing both her and Taurus to be impaled. No matter how much he tries, Encrid cannot take the vines away from himself. The mage applauds his courage. So before anything, she reveals that she is Retcha of the Rose Vines. With a clenching of her fist, she explodes Encrid. He was a fool. Just like how not every foot soldier is equal, he shouldn't have expected the same thing to apply to magicians. He was cocky. He got drunk on the fact that he got stronger and charged in without any type of analysis. The ferryman wonders if he knows his place now. He finds it odd, using the power of today to get stronger instead of suffering for his consequences. But against such an overwhelming wall, he is nothing but an ant. Encrid thanks him. He reignited that fire within him. This is exactly what this wall needed. The ferryman smiles, as he wonders if he will say that after meeting the third wall. Encrid tells Finn that he wants to enter as a disguised merchant this time, as he has a bad feeling about the other ways. Finn agrees, but they will have to enter along with the merchants who go in regularly, and that would be tomorrow morning. This is a problem, as Encrid cannot make a day go by without surpassing the wall. How will this manifest now? Torres says that there's nothing they can do, and since they have time to spare, Finn knows what they have to do. She tells one of her men to bring out everything, and they pull out an assortment of drinks and meats. But Encrid wonders if they will really do this in front of the damn enemy. He asks if being so relaxed isn't dangerous, but Finn says that it's inefficient to stay stressed when there's nothing to do. One tends to lose their foresight when they are so stressed. He should also drink and relax, as his shoulders look quite tense. Encrid has always done his best, and thought that was for the best. But perhaps Finn is right. He tunnel-visioned, and began to think the only way to surpass these walls is to face them head-on. He should think calmly about it. Struggling head-on is not the only way. Today, even this moment, will eventually become a part of him. Finn told him to rest, but she does not get what he's doing at all. Torres guesses that this is resting for him, but even if she doesn't get it, Finn notes that he's a delight for her eyes, much to Torres's dismay. Night arrives, and Encrid had a revelation today. That alone made it productive. They should have arrived at the walls at about this time. The first time it was the guards, the second time it was a magician atop a wall. Now what will stand in their way? Suddenly they all hear the blood-curdling howl of a lycanthrope, and Encrid immediately realizes that they are the same ones that they saw in the second today. Finn tells everyone to run, but they are cornered by the beasts, unable to move. Torres notes that they need 10 men for a single lycanthrope, and there are like 20 of them. They are as sure as dead at this point. Finn doesn't understand. When did these guys arrive when there were no monsters nearby? Encrid thinks her senses were fooled, meaning that this might be the work of Retcha. He did say that he would not throw himself into his problems, but he will not be taken down easily. He tries to use his senses to dodge, but the lycanthrope attacks are irregular and come from all over, proving their will nature. He is forced to block the next attack with his blade and tries to zoom out his focus, only to hear everyone else being butchered by the beasts with no sign of remorse. He knows that none of this matters once this day repeats, but seeing all those deaths, it is still too painful. He begins to take down the beasts one after another, but one much larger than the others crashes his fist in his chest. This is likely the leader of the pack. He throws Encrid into the air, leaving him defenseless against the maws of the other lycanthropes. The ferryman tells him that no matter what he picks, the walls are all hopelessly tall, and as long as today exists, he will be forced to repeat the situation over and over. Does he still find it fun now? Encrid says that this is certainly not an ideal situation, making the others confused, but he mustn't give up on the situation, as he will find a way, even if all three paths are blocked. They go through the tunnel once again, as Encrid thought what could be done if they get surrounded, and there is nothing to do. He will not be fighting one-on-one like Torres and Finn might like, and even if he gets surrounded like this, he cannot do much. The best move is to avoid getting surrounded in the first place, so he uses his instincts to find where the ambushers are. Unfortunately for him, his senses fail him, and they get killed once again. He guesses that there is magic here too, so he climbs the wall once again and asks Retcha if the magic planted in the crawl hole was her doing. She cannot believe that the others got caught properly. Captain Roger was not doing his job, it seems. With that, she kills him, and he continues his training with the hidden blade. Although it's not working well, he knows that once a mage is involved, one cannot use their senses anymore. Even that simple trap becomes dangerous, and since their enemies are all obsessive lovers, they cannot shake them off easily. The same goes for the lycanthrope. He has to fight many all at once. Can he even make up that difference? As he charges in, though, he thinks that this is no good, as he's just lashing out once again. He doesn't have to rush his thoughts, as this is a rare chance to fight in real combat, as much as he wants to, and no matter how much he dies, the knowledge he gathers will always stay with him.
Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.